Councilwoman, how you doing? That's good. To make 6, 7, 7, 6. The fire department. I want to switch those out. So the fire department.
To make it 6.
In there. Yeah.
Okay.
Hello, Mr. Council President. Good. I think this is the one from Mr. Clyburn.
Okay.
The,
You have copies for everybody? Or?
no, I didn't. I just brought one for my reference.
So you. So I hope you guys are.
Is he here? I handed the man my copy. She might be one of my copies.
If the members of the audience would just allow me 2 more minutes, I need to get some documentation. Thank you for your patience. I love seeing the building full. It's always reassuring when you have members of the public out to participate in government. And if you would just allow me this indulgence of just a couple of more minutes to make sure that the members of council have all the documents pertinent to tonight's meeting, I would greatly appreciate that.
I got an email on Friday. Yeah, it was Friday at 5:04.
He's bringing, he didn't bring the home.
I've got a copy of the agreement. Okay.
Okay, so, yeah, the agenda is right after roll call, so that's,
All right. Would you like me to pass this out now?
yeah, one for me and then please too. And I want to give folks a minute opportunity to see what they're.
Sure.
Madam Mayor, this is going into where?
Administrative.
So we would have to create. So under item, Madam. Bashi.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do a
Okay.
session with all the council.
Okay.
I'm gonna talk to Mr. Piper.
Yeah, I want to find out where they'd like to install this. It's under administration, but we don't have a subheading for administration unless we're going to create one. So, Madam, if you don't mind. So at present, community development. You don't have any. Before the close session? So we have to come after. Okay, so I just need a member. Ms. Manica, if I could talk to you for a second. You have the document, in front of you have an opportunity to read it, the recommendations for installation of after the closed session. So we would have a subhead for admin, yeah. Put it as item, moving that and placing it as a new item 6. It's all contingent upon members' approval. I just want to make sure everybody has an opportunity to see this and read it before we get into it. Yeah. Item 6. So it was going to be 5. That closed session is a closed session. It is what it is. So item 6 will be district. Yep. That would be the. Sorry.
Yeah, the resolution.
So tell me again. This is going.
All right. All right, so I'll pass these out.
This one. Yes, sir. All right.
Do you have any agreement? It's not with the resolution, that's what being locked on.
Okay, yeah. So this is, thank you.
All right.
Put these together. I want to get them. lost.
Yeah, I. Yeah. I
Did you
dropped
make
off
sure all
the,
members had had a copy of this document as well?
Yes, I just passed it out.
Okay, I don't intend to rush them through it. Ladies and gentlemen, again, I appreciate your patience. This is one of our last meetings for the year. The agenda is robust. We have a lot of business to attend to. So I do appreciate your patience as we make sure we have our agenda items sorted out here. I also wanted to make sure that members of City Council had an opportunity to peruse the documents that they have in front of them as we will be making decisions on these documents. I don't want anyone to feel rushed during this process. I don't know. Did she bring some books for me to swear in?
Yep, yeah, and then the agreement that I gave you goes with it. That was stapled.
Get Chief out.
I just gave you the agreement that goes with the resolution.
Cool.
The EPA one?
Absolutely,
Yes.
but this where's? Should have known when I saw the guy sitting there. I'm like, okay. Yes, I'm just waiting on. They brought us documents at the last minute. I want to make sure members have an opportunity to get those questions asked, and also, to my understanding, Mr. Mayor, that's some bureaucracy. Okay, that's. Yeah, that's why I would need to know where the chief is. You guys are here to be sworn in today?
They're here on the fire.
Okay, that's cool. Just want to make sure. I'm just waiting for Mr. Al-Shafi to get back after consulting with the city's administrator. And then we'll go ahead and get started. In the last 5 minutes before the meeting. Monday all day. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to call this meeting to order. This is the regularly scheduled meeting for the Highland Park City Council, in person and virtual. Regular meeting scheduled for Monday, November the 18th, 2024 at 7 p.m. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Council President Robinson. Councilwoman Manica. Here. Councilwoman Martin. Here. Councilman Ashafi.
Here.
Council President Thomas.
Here, thank you, all accounted for. At this point, we will turn the floor over to members of council. You've had an opportunity to see the proposed agenda. There have also been documents presented to you in the last few moments to consider for today's agenda. I will turn the floor over to members of council, and the chair will entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve with amendments.
So we have a motion on the floor by Councilman Ashafi with amendments to the agenda. Mr. Ashafi, would you please share with us the proposed amendments you have in mind?
Yeah, okay, so the amendments that I have in mind, I noticed that we have on the council affair Smith Street as a secondary name for Highland Park Street, celebrating his and the First Lady's 50th anniversary. I'm wondering as to why is that under council affairs and it's not under community development.
I can answer that question for you, Mr. Ashafi. As we inquired at the last meeting about honoring this member of our community, when I inquired as to where that would go, seeing as that is under the purview of city council, that is the appropriate place for that under council affairs. It is not a matter of community and economic development because we are bestowing that honor. The council is completely and solely in charge of recognizing this citizen. And so it will go under our subhead of council affairs. So these are things that are the sole purview of city council. It's not under community development or under the city administration because this honor is something that we bestow.
Accept that one. Question under council affairs, resolution regarding the approval of a bond for the office of treasurer. I have a little question here. So I'm noticing that in this everything is uniform except for this particular resolution. My question is,
When you say uniform, sir, could you be a little bit more specific?
the font is different, the print is different.
Is that a computer specific issue?
It could very well be, but my question is, who wrote this resolution?
Can someone within the city's administration or the legal department answer that question for Mr. Ashafi?
Sure, I could, Mr. President. Our office wrote it in conjunction with consultation with the city administration.
Okay, so legal did write it.
Yes,
Okay.
and it's initialed as approved.
Okay, so can someone tell me why this is not under legal then? And why is this at the very end of our agenda in our council? When it should be something.
I don't have a complete answer for that, but let me go ahead and pull the charter up and see if I can get that question answered. If it's my understanding that the requirement for bonds is something that, again, is under the city council's purview. The requirement of members, elected officials, as well as employees of the city is specifically under the purview of the city council.
I understand, Council President. My only issue is everything on this agenda tonight is pretty much under the purview of council because it all has to be approved by council. These are checks and balances that the city has in place when we do these things, that everything in which the mayor and her administration does must be approved by council. So therefore, everything on this agenda is under the purview of council. I'm trying to understand why is this particular resolution pushed all the way to the back in council affairs when it should be under legal?
Okay, so on the board up there, section 4.8 of the charter, the council may require any officer or employee to give a bond to be approved by the city attorney and such sums as council determines. Again, all of the decision-making, it's not the city administrator. It's not the city administration. It says council determines. The bond shall be considered upon the faithful and proper performance of the duties of the office or employment considered. All official bonds shall be corporate surety bonds, and the premium thereof shall be paid by the city. The bonds of all officers and employees shall be filed with the clerk, except the clerk's bond shall be filed with the treasurer. Any officer or employee who was covered by the blanket bond needed to be bonded individually for the purpose of qualifying for the office. And so again, it says under 4.8 that this is the purview of city council. The council may require.
I got that, Council President. I'm not arguing that point. I'm trying to understand why is it placed under council affairs, you know what I'm saying? When it's legal, it should be under legal. I'm just trying to understand why is it pushed all the way to the back? I mean, we have quite a bit to deal with here tonight. All I'm simply saying is, I think that this needs to be moved out of council affairs and moved into legal. It can be put under legal, A, B, C, D, E. We listed at 5, no, it's definitely there. Now you did make the point that council is required to do this. So my question is, if this is solely the work of council, which council members or was it just one council member who decided to place this item all the way in the back at council affairs instead of bringing it under legal?
Okay, so I'll attempt to answer your question. If I need assistance from other people in the room, I'll rely on those people to interject where I am incorrect in my statements.
Okay.
I am not aware of a situation where we have had a sitting elected official removed from office. I've lived here for 24 years, and this is the first instance that I've ever encountered. And having conversations with previous city council presidents, there has not been a single instance that anyone has brought to my attention that addresses a situation like this. The fact that this was introduced with a neophyte or unexperienced city council was an issue to start with, but it required us to look deeper into the charter. As a result of the previous treasurer being removed and having someone appointed, it fell upon the responsibility of city council. If you remember, the initiation for the removal, the swift removal of the treasurer came from council. The decision to appoint someone in that role came from council. All of the deliberating activity that's taken place on this issue of the treasurer came from council. Therefore, the logical assumption is that this will remain under council affairs. This is our baby. Love it or hate it. Whether we were all in agreement or not, the majority vote brought this issue to the floor as a result of members of council who made motions, who moved forward with those motions. The vote is in the record of those people who moved those initiatives forward. We were asked by the legal department at the time, they advised us not to move with the speed that we did because there were still a lot of things that were undecided. The issue of a bond was one of those things. However, we chose to take a different path. Now we've arrived at this place right now. Legal has advised us. They have also provided recommendations based on the county and the state as it relates to the treasurer. They have advised us. We have ignored their advice. So this is all a council affairs issue. This is not the issue of legal. They're acting as advisors. They write the resolutions, they go out and do legal due diligence, and they provide us with the document that is sound. But this was not something that they wanted us to do. In fact, everything related to the treasurer since the ouster of the treasurer, the legal department has advised us against the action that was ultimately taken. So it is not at this point opportune for us to take this thing that we created and then put it off into the legal department. This is in fact a council affairs. The record will show every action taken on the office of the treasurer since her ouster has been initiated by members of council. The members who have made the motions, those who have approved it, they're all sitting here right now. This is a council affair. If you feel different, if you feel that I'm presenting some information that is somehow alternate from what the perceived truth is, I am open to entertaining. Okay. Yes, sir.
It's unnecessary for all of that.
No. I wanted to make sure that I explained it thoroughly. Was there something that I missed?
Why is at the back of the page?
And I thought I was making an appropriate explanation. This entire exercise has all been under the purview of council. Therefore, it should not be under legal, because this is not a legal initiated activity. They acted out as our advisors. They provide us with a due diligence resolution. This is not under the city's administration. Again, they advised us against the actions that we took, not on one occasion, but on every occasion. And yet council, through a majority vote, took a different course. And so the appropriate place for this to be is not under community development. It's not under the fire department, not under the Department of Water. It should be under council affairs.
Okay, so Council President, there is a motion on the floor. If the majority of the council members are fine with it being where it is, then I can accept their decision as well.
Okay, so just so with your motion, that was for the approval of the agenda as it is. If I'm not mistaken, there was a document that was brought, I saw, so you, Mr. Shafi's motion is on the floor.
I have a question about it.
Yes. Go ahead, ma'am.
So are you not, you don't want it to be changed now, right?
I would like to move to legal and place as 5E. But if the council sees fit, if the majority of you see fit that it can stay where it is, then I'm fine with that. We got a long night tonight.
Yes.
Yeah, by poll, we don't necessarily need to vote on that by poll, leaving it at where it is in council affairs. Do I have any questions, concerns, dissent on that? Because Mr. El-Shafi's motion is still open, but we still have not considered the other items that were brought to us prior to the start of our meeting. Just want to make sure that before we move on with the agenda, we do have a walk-on that was presented to us.
So before no one seconded it.
Exactly. So the floor is still open for him to.
Second.
So we have a second on the floor. So we have a motion made by Councilman El-Shafi to approve the agenda as is. That was seconded by Council Pro Tem Robinson. Is there questions, concerns, dissent? Ms. Manica, please.
I'd like to, I guess it would be dissent, because I'd like to do the motion to add the add-ons, to do some changes, amending to the agenda.
Can you be specific to those that request to listen to the members who have made the motion and support it? No. So we have a motion on the floor, but this is the deliberation period. If there's a case, you have to add these. If you would, I see your hand, Madam Pro Tem. What is your case to add these additional items, ma'am?
I move to approve the agenda with adding, I should say, adding in administration as number 6. And under that would be the resolution to approve execution of EPA Community Change Grant Partnership Agreement with Highland Park Urban Development Initiative to apply for up to $20 million in United States Environmental Protection Agency Community Change Grant.
Just as a matter of record, do all members have the copy that was provided to us just recently from Mr. Bashik?
Sir, but now there's 2 motions on the floor.
Yes, sir, but before, we have a motion on the floor. Your motion is solid. It's supported by Council Pro Tem. This is part of deliberation. Ms. Manica is making a suggestion that we alter that, or that we add to that motion that you made to approve the agenda as it is, the addition of this resolution to approve the EPA and Community Change Grant Partnership. The floor is still open for deliberation on that.
This is 2 motions in one.
No, ma'am.
I was adding.
This is right.
Let's just vote.
Let's just vote. Okay, so we're just gonna go. So we're gonna approve. Just to approval of the agenda. Mr. El-Shafi made a motion to approve the agenda as is.
He wants to
Just move an item around, yeah.
Right.
So that's what I said. What is your motion, Hershey?
My motion is to move the resolution a bond for the office of treasurer from council affairs to legal under 5 and label it as 5.
Right,
And that was what I seconded.
right, so Manica's adding to the agenda, so we go around saying yes, that means that it's being moved, right?
Well,
What Mr. El-Shafi said, and I asked the poll, he said if members of council are fine with leaving it where it is, that he was fine with leaving it. It's still open on the floor.
We say that we're fine with him?
That's not-
We're supporting him?
Yeah, we have to vote on it. We have to vote on it. That's why. No.
And
So,
Mr. President,
yes,
if I can make a suggestion that
Sure.
you vote on Councilman El-Shafi's motion to move the item from council affairs to legal, then after that, Councilman Manica can make her motion to add the add-on item regarding the EPA change grant.
everybody comfortable with that? Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll take a vote on the approval of the agenda as is, with the exception of moving item 10B up to the legal department, making it 5E. Okay, and that's after we come out of closed session.
And then after that motion, if Councilwoman Manica's motion to add the add-on item has a second, then you could vote on that also.
Okay. So we have a motion on the floor made by Councilman El Shafi to approve the agenda as is with one modification, moving item 10B up to the legal department to make it 5E. That's a bond issue. That motion was seconded by Council Pro Tem Robinson. If we have any more questions, concerns, I don't see any movement on that. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll on the approval of the agenda with that amendment?
Council Pro Tem Robinson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Manica,
No.
Councilwoman Martin,
No,
Councilman Ashafi,
Yes.
Council Pro Tem Thomas.
Council President Thomas, no. No. So that motion doesn't carry. We're gonna leave that under council affairs. Again, so we still need to get the agenda approved. The floor is open for a motion from members on the floor.
Okay, Councilwoman Manica,
Mhm.
I move to approve the agenda with the following amendments. Adding administration as number 6. With A under administration becoming a resolution to approve the execution of an EPA Community Change Grant Partnership agreement with Highland Park Urban Development Initiative to apply for up to $20 million in United States Environmental Protection Agency Community Change Grant funds for the renovation and restoration of the McGregor Library.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Manica to modify the agenda by creating an item 6 under the administration, moving every other item down from item 7, 36, 30th District Court down. The chair will offer a second to that motion.
I'm sorry.
Keep going.
We also will be changing, I would like to move the fire department up to make it number,
Moving it above community,
yes,
so that will make it item
8.
8. It will stay 8.
It will stay 8, but community development will become. Community development will be moved.
Move lower, so 6.
So 30th District Court becomes 7. Fire department becomes 8. Community development becomes 9.
Water department becomes 10.
Yes, that stays 10.
Water department becomes 10, and then council affairs becomes item 11. Okay, the chair will offer a second to that motion. We can open up the floor for deliberation, or we can go straight to the vote.
Council President.
Yes, sir.
So there were 2 items that, Councilwoman Manica just added in there.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and,
She added one and she moved.
okay, I got no problem with the adding for the resolution, for the new resolution. But what do I do if I don't want to move the fire department?
I guess, sir, that's completely within your purview. It's just changing the place in the agenda, much into the same way that you had suggested. However, it maintains the fidelity of the line item. It is just the fire department. So it's just moving them around on the page. It's not moving one from one section to another. But it's within your purview.
so the EPA resolution, that's not on here at all, right?
No, that's an add-on for today. That becomes item 6.
Item 6, what?
Administration.
It's just 6A. It's only going to be that one item today, I believe.
Adding up administration.
Yeah, up under legal. So we have a motion on the floor for Councilwoman Manica to approve the agenda with 2 modifications. The first modification is adding a line item for the city administration as it relates to the resolution to approve the execution of the EPA change grant for the library, and also reordering the agenda, taking the line item for the fire department and moving it up in the agenda to obviously relieve the firefighters of their time, and then switching community and economic development to the subsequent item. There's a motion on the floor. It has been supported by the chair. Do we have any additional discussion on that, or can we go ahead and move to the vote? Hearing no comments, I'll just go ahead and call for the vote from the chair, from the clerk.
Council Pro Tem Robinson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Manica,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin,
No.
Councilman Ashafi,
No.
Council President Thomas.
Yes, the agenda has been approved. Please make notations on your agenda that item 6 has been added for administration, that the fire department has been moved above community development, and the rest of the agenda will flow as it is written here. Okay. Okay, moving on to item 4, the approval of the proposed minutes for the virtual and in-person regular meeting for October 21st, 2024. City Council, what's your pleasure?
Motion to approve.
Have a motion.
Question.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilman El Shafi, seconded by, was that you, Ms. Manica, or Ms.?
Yes.
By Ms. Manica, and we had a member had questions?
Yeah, again, one question.
Yes, sir.
The change that Ms. Manica made on one of her people, has that been corrected in these minutes? It was one of your people that said, they couldn't make it for the CDAC, right? And we changed it. Yeah,
Right, it's always on here.
okay.
Yep, it's on here.
It's been changed?
It hasn't been changed yet. I did not bring the person forward yet.
Oh, okay.
I gotta bring them
So it's
forward.
still staying
It's still
as it
staying.
is?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Council President.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor by Councilman El Shafi to approve the minutes, supported by Councilwoman Manica. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll on item 4?
Council Pro Tem Robinson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Manica,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin,
Yes,
Councilman Ashafi, Council President Thomas.
Yes, motion carries. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is the portion of each of our meetings where we set aside a bit of time for the mayor to come and address the council as well as the public. If you would turn your attention to the mayor, we would greatly appreciate it. Madam Mayor, the floor is yours.
Okay, perfect.
all right, so I only have 2 things, so we can go and come back, because you guys are gonna be waiting for a second. This Thursday, 6 p.m. is the town hall meeting. You know, twice a year, we have a state of the city, and at the end of the year, we have a town hall. So on this Thursday, November 20th, 6 p.m. at the rec center, 10 Pickens, is the town hall meeting. So please come out, send some people, come out and hear from the administration. This is the time that our administrators get to present all the things that they have done over the last 3 months and all the things they plan on doing for the next 3 months. So I hope to see you there. I want to thank Troy Towing. This weekend, they passed out, I heard, over 500 turkeys with fixings for everyone. So thank him for that service to the community. I've seen questions about street lighting. I have some news, it's not good, don't start passing the word. But I did have a meeting this morning, and there was a drive through the city, DTE, the head guy and vice president came out this morning, and we rode through the city so they could see that when the lights was taken out, where they were taken out from, and how it's affecting various areas. Now, does that mean, I want to put this on the record, so I don't want anybody calling me saying, I said we're gonna get some street lights. That's not what I said. What I'm saying is, they are looking at ways to see if they can help us restore lighting to the city. So that's one of the goals between now and next summer, is to see where we can go and how we can move to bring lighting back to the city. I know it's a concern, and it's a very good concern. It is dark in the city, but we're really trying to rectify that. Solidarity is working with us. DTE is trying to work with us. So I think that if with those partners and other partners, we can try to do something. Again, we have a grant coming for 30 solar lights. It's coming. We have not received it yet. So please stop telling people we got this money. We didn't, not yet. And as soon as we receive it, you guys will know, the city council will know, because they will have to vote to receive it. So we haven't received that. But there's 30, that's not a lot, but we're working. I just want you to know, we hear you, and we're working towards trying to see what we can do. People have to know, streetlights cost money, especially the ones from DTE. That's the reason they were removed. As we grow this city, the more we grow the city, the more possibility of us putting more and more in. So that's where we're working with that. I am in the process of talking to, it was a question this morning for me about lead in the water. Damon, I've talked to him already. He's gonna talk about that. That is not true. So please, he's gonna let you know why some of the letters came out. And it's a requirement. And he'll be talking about that during his time. Okay, that's all I got.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Okay. This is the time that we turn over to citizens for citizens participation. If you can take a look at your agenda, it says citizens may speak for no more than 2 minutes. I'm gonna set the timer for 2 minutes and 15 seconds because this is Highland Park. And I'm gonna ask people who want to speak on items on the agenda only. Please feel free to come up to the podium, state your name, and I'll start the timer once you state your name.
Okay, there we go. Thank you. My name is Lisa Stolarski. I am elected treasurer of the city of Highland Park. I was appointed in the spring to be interim treasurer after Janice Bibbs was removed from office. And I'm sorry, President Thomas, it's not true that the administration had nothing to do with what happened in the spring with my appointment. You see, it was the mayor. I attempted to get a $2 million bond, and it turned out to be very difficult to get a $2 million bond. And it was the mayor who voted down for me to have a lower bond. I suggested a sliding scale. I would start with 500,000 and see if I could get more. And she vetoed that. Subsequently, I did get a bond for $1 million, and the city attorney did not return my emails when I asked them if they would put forward a resolution. So I don't really mind where this falls on the agenda, but I would appreciate, just acknowledgement of the actual record. Oh yes, and one other thing. In November, for this particular meeting, it was the city attorney who brought a resolution to raise that bond to $5 million. So I just want to make sure that we keep the facts straight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Is there any other citizen would like to be heard on the agenda item, please? And I know which item Ms. Stolarski was going to reference, but for those of you who I'm not familiar with as members of the community, if you could let me know which item you're going to speak to.
Good evening to the Honorable Mayor, Honorable City Council. My name is Harley Brown, and I'm Director of Marketing. And it's item, it was number 7, I guess it's been moved back to number 9 now. For the Highland, we would like to purchase 3 lots behind the Highland Room here, and that address is 1323 Woodward Avenue. We've done a great job in cleaning that area up, and we hope we can get the support of the mayor and the city council today for purchase. Personally, I grew up in Detroit. I lived on Highland Park. I'm in my middle 70s, and I came through Highland Park when you had Sears and Roebuck, and you had Holiday Inn, and it was just such a lovely place. And so we worked very hard to clean up the community, and look forward to continuing an investment here. And if you have any questions,
I guess,
feel free.
yeah, we'll get to, could you just tell us, you said you're the director of marketing for who now?
DMC,
For DMC. Thank you, sir. And your name one more time.
Harley, Harley Brown, BROW.
Thank you, sir. We'll get to that. Well, we'll have a conversation at that time on that. Okay. Additional citizens that would like to be heard?
Good evening. I'd like to address line item number 9 regarding the water, one of our favorite topics. My name is Joshua Lemire, proprietor of City of Trees 501c3. Sorry if that's kind of close to the town slogan, but I would just like to suggest going out to Washington, D.C. to ask them for some money, as we have a perfectly beautiful, lovely, fertile, supple water, what would you call that? Water pump on the northeast side of town. I think it needs about 120 to 150 million dollars to get it running again, but it sure would be cool to be self-sufficient in a water capacity, especially since a lot of the lead-ins to and fro people's homes are made out of lead. So even if there isn't lead in the water, there is some plumbing issues. So if anybody would be interested in joining me in that endeavor, I'm trying to get out before the first of the year. My number is 651-269-7166. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Just for the record, the veto was about the resolution that was written by Ms. Delarski, who put her own numbers in, who was passed to Council Member Robinson and was not approved by our legal department. And that's why it was vetoed. She admitted that she wrote it, which she did not have authority to write a resolution, because at the time, she still had not acquired a bond. So at that time, she was still not able to act as the treasurer. So the resolution was vetoed because you cannot write your own resolution, decide what you're going to be able to do as the treasurer, what you would get. It has to go according to the charter to the lawyers, and they have to deem it sufficient. That's what the language says. And they did not return because they had written it herself. Council Pro Tem walked it on. It had not been approved, and that's why it was vetoed. No other reason than that. That's my comment.
Thank you, ma'am. Any additional citizens?
Good evening. My name is Norman Johnson. I stay at 150 Geneva. Oh, hello, can y'all hear me? My name is Norman Johnson. I have an issue with the water problem because I have a property at 150 Geneva, and my water line is broke from the service line, and they is telling me that it's my responsibility to get it fixed. And now they telling me I'm gonna have to wait till 2026 and 27 to get it fixed. The man, I went to the water department, Mr. Gary. I've been trying to get into contact. I can't never get in contact with Mr. Gary. I've been talking to Ms. Roberson. She been contacting me and letting me know that she been trying to contact them, and I guess they ain't giving her anything. And the gentleman right there, I don't know, I forgot his name. I think that's Mr. Damon. I talked to him. They was telling me that it's my responsibility. And then they said they getting a program going on, but it'd be like 2 or 3 years.
So let me get your address one more time, ma'am.
150 Geneva.
150 Geneva. So this is the part of the
It's broke at the service line.
this is the part of the meeting where we go. Now, just for the record, I'm glad that you had an opportunity to share that with us. And now you had an opportunity to put it out, and there are people in the room that you might be able to have a conversation with after the meeting. But your particular comment, as it was not related to a specific line item on the agenda, was probably supposed to go at the end during the open citizens comment. You didn't know that, which is why I'll let you go ahead and speak, because you want to go ahead and get it out at the beginning of the meeting. I appreciate that. But what I would encourage you to do is, if you haven't exchanged cards with these individuals, to probably do that. You're physically here now. And as you know, being someplace gets you a whole lot farther than phone calls and emails
No, I
sometimes.
have talked to Mr. Damon. I had seen him
Okay,
at the water department.
okay. Well, I thank you for your comment. It's in the record now. And so hopefully someone will be able to follow up with you soon. As city council, we're the legislative body, we can receive this information, but the doers are in the room. So,
Because I've been getting ticketed. My neighbor, she don't want to stay in there. Every time she want to make a complaint,
yes, ma'am.
they could go down there and complain because she had the mirror come out to my house.
Yes, ma'am. But I want to stop you right there. And I want to say that the comment that you're making
Yes,
is important.
yes.
But it's just that you're making it at a different time in the meeting when we're supposed to have those type of comments. And I did want to make sure that I gave you an opportunity, because you don't come to a meeting on a regular basis. You probably don't know which citizens' participation is which. And so forgive me for having to move on within the agenda, but I do thank you for showing up tonight and sharing this information with you. We're going to do what we can to try and get somebody to have a conversation with you about what your response. We're not in a position to tell you what your responsibilities are. Someone within the water department can delineate that. So city council doesn't. So hopefully you can get more definitive information about what your responsibility is as it relates to your property.
All right, thank you for listening.
My pleasure, ma'am. Thank you for coming. Do we have additional citizens that wanted to speak on an agenda item? If I don't see any movement, so what I'm going to say here is we're going to close out citizens' participation on the agenda, and we're going to move directly into, you know what? Mr. Al-Shafi, thank you for that. Let me go ahead and, excuse me. I don't see any hands raised online, so we're going to go ahead and move on to item 5 under legal. First item for city council to deliberate on is item 5A. That's a resolution to go into a closed session to discuss the collective bargaining and pending litigation. And after that, after item 5A, then we have other actions that we need to take. The chair is open to entertain a motion from members of council as it relates to item 5A.
I move to the session.
We have a motion on the floor from Councilman Al-Shafi. We have support from, who wants to take credit for the support? Is that you, Ms. Martin? Or you, Ms.? So we have a motion from Councilman Al-Shafi, supported by Councilwoman Martin, to go into the closed session. Would you please call the roll on that item, ma'am? So the resolution I want to make sure, to your point. So the resolution is to convene in a closed session pursuant MCL 15.268 to discuss. So that's resolution to convene the closed session. I think that was the appropriate language for it.
Okay, whatever you want to say.
So we have a motion on the floor by Councilman Al-Shafi, supported by Councilwoman Martin. If you wouldn't mind calling the roll on that resolution, item 5A.
Pro Tem Robinson. Councilwoman Manica.
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Councilman Ashafi.
Yes.
Council President Thomas.
Yes, motion approved. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to convene into a closed session. I cannot give you any definitive information on how long this process will take. I can just tell you that we'll be back. It is 7:51.
They used to have that when we was on the go, but they're not gonna come back and tell them. Yeah, I'm not I hadn't paid, you know, I wasn't really, I knew I wasn't. I'm not gonna be here, but when you guys are. Yeah, permanent. There's paper, yeah, right. It's so funny about the school board money. Beyond what you go and somebody. And I thought, wow.
So, you know, and you know about the word lane.
Yeah. Do I stay in line?
So, right.
They were not supposed to stay. Somebody's asked you.
Oh, no, we're not. Bye.
No.
Super Bowl.
Right across from the old Sears. I come in and out. Okay, so that's the one. Okay. And then there's the school. Come on, no.
Yeah, St. John is much, yeah. St. John is by far. Oh, West Coast.
I know, that's why I was waiting here, then.
It's my bedtime. I better go to sleep. Working days, right in the strip over there, pizza on the west side of the street, on the east side of the street. Yeah, that's the hall. Down the street, yeah. You will find that neighborhood. Yeah. Serious. They were, well, it's important that you have funding. That's right. Everyone says that going there. It's good. Right. So, no. Right, that's good. Sure. Being set up for your grandchildren, children. Unfortunately, I actually So it's get it all right. So. You have a card?
Wow. No, I don't know neither one of them. Running, go ahead. Everybody was saying.
Anybody need a minute before we get started? Go ahead, take that, sir.
Oh.
Okay, members of council, the chair would entertain, I'm sorry, I'm shy one member. I'm sorry. It is 8:36 PM. The chair would entertain a motion to reconvene the regular session of tonight's city council meeting. We have a motion made by Councilman Ashafi. All those in favor? Motion reconvened at 8:36 PM. Moving on to item 5B, under legal, the resolution for the council to approve the tentative agreement with the Highland Park Firefighters Local 335. City Council, what is your pleasure on this item?
Motion to approve.
Have a motion made by Councilman Ashafi, second by Councilwoman Manica, to approve the resolution related to the tentative agreement with the Highland Park Firefighters Local 335. Madam Deputy Clerk, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Council Pro Tem Robinson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Manica.
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Councilman Ashafi.
Yes.
Council President Thomas.
Yes, motion carries. Moving on to item 5C, resolution to approve the settlement of pending litigation entitled House Powell versus the City of Highland Park et al. Wayne County case number 23-010283. City Council, what is your pleasure on item 5C?
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve made by Councilwoman Manica. Do we have support? Second by Councilman Ashafi. Questions, concerns, dissent? I see no moving hands. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll on item 5C?
Council Pro Tem Robinson.
No.
Councilwoman Manica.
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Councilman Ashafi.
Yes.
Council President Thomas.
Yes, motion carries. Moving on to item 5D, resolution to approve the release and settlement agreement with the Wayne County Land Bank. City Council, what is your pleasure on item 5D? It's a resolution approving the release and settlement agreement with the Wayne County Land Bank.
Move to approve.
We have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Manica, seconded by Councilman Ashafi. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll on item 5D?
Council Pro Tem Robinson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Manica.
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Councilman Ashafi.
Yes.
Council President Thomas.
Yes, motion carries. Thank you very much for that, members of council. So now we're going to move on to item 6 under administration. That is a resolution to approve the execution of the EPA change grant.
Second. I got the
So indigent defense, so for in place of 30th District Court, we moved into one for admin that made the resolution to approve the execution of the EPA change grant. Item 6, that was the insert that was provided to us by Mr. Bostic. It starts off the resolution to approve the execution of the EPA community change grant. That's a new item 6, and then we'll be moving on. So council, I'll give you just a moment to deliberate on that. We are now under administration item 6, and that is the resolution to approve. Let me just check these off and move these through. Settlement agreement. Okay, our new item 6 is a resolution to approve the execution of the EPA Community Change Grant partnership agreement with Highland Park Urban Development Initiative to apply for a grant up to $20 million, United States Environmental Protection Agency Community Change Grant funds for the for the renovation and restoration of the McGregor Library. Forgive me, folks, I've been up since 4:30, so I'm gonna get a little woozy here.
Make a motion to approve.
We have a motion on the floor to approve item 6A by Council Pro Tem Robinson, seconded by Councilwoman Manica. I see no, okay, so we have the motion on the floor. Questions, concerns, dissent? Okay, so we have questions on item 6A. We have the resolution in front of us. The floor is yours, Mr. Ashafi.
Being told that the HPUDI is here online.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Yes, Council.
I didn't see you there. My apologies.
I'm gonna bring before you Miss Harriet. She is the person who is over grants for the HP. So she can answer all of your questions that you might have.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Would you please join us up at the podium?
Miss Harriet Strickland.
Ms. Strickland.
How are you today? Hello. I'm concerned about a little bit of the language in this. Read here.
The language was written by your attorney, your attorney representative. I didn't like that.
Okay, so my question is, who is going to be the chair of the city? This is saying that it's going to be you, but I'm being told that it's going to be the city. Who is handling this one?
The judiciary is the city of Highland Park.
Okay, so this needs to be changed then.
That's required by EPA.
Which item, sir? Show me where in the text.
Okay, I'm trying to find it now. I was looking at it earlier. Okay. Also for the federal fund, EPA, which will be it to the city. There to establish. also be responsible for funds and will be liable for unallowable costs.
Where are you reading from, sir? Just,
I am on the second page. From at 6.
okay. You're on the second page.
Page 2. Okay, line 6. I think, no.
There's Roman numerals here.
Line 4, I'm sorry.
So be responsible for the receipt of federal funds, which will be remitted to the city and held in an established designated account, but okay. You have additional questions about that? This is.
Yeah, so according to this, it's saying that they're responsible for the money. Or it doesn't say that the city is the sole fiduciary.
We're responsible for reporting and compliance. We're not holding the funds, the city is the fiduciary, but Highland Park is the responsible party for the grant, for the services.
HPUDI shall also be responsible for the proper expenditure of these funds and will bear liability for unallowable costs.
That's true, but we're not holding the funds.
So under 4, it says that you'll be responsible for the receipt of funds from the EPA, which will then be remitted. So you're receiving the funds, then they will be remitted to the city.
Correct.
Held in an established designated account like all the other designated accounts that we have. Am I correct? All these sequestered, segregated funds.
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure. So you're just a channel.
We are just a channel.
Okay.
The unfortunate part is if there's any misuse of funds that's held by the city, we are responsible.
Okay, I see your hand, Ms. Manning. Go for it.
I was gonna ask that the attorney explain that line.
Yeah, the funds are remitted to HPUDI, and then they are to turn those over to the city for keeping of the funds in a designated account that's set aside for the partnership. It's a partnership. Think of it as like a new entity with 2 entities, HPUDI and the city, and their responsibility would be to expend funds, expend grant funds for McGregor Library. And as Ms. Strickland indicated, the way EPA has these agreements set up, if there's any sort of problem with the funds, then that would be the responsibility of the agency, HPUDI.
So what it's actually saying is that they are responsible for how they're spent or what they're used on. So we need a piece of drywall. That's what you're saying.
Right. So what will happen with the funds, once it's in the city's hands, is that there are several new departments that has to be set up. That's why I said in the city's hands. So we have to have someone that is a procurement manager. So the procurement manager comes in to solicit for contractors. When those contractors get paid and the procurement manager, we then say, hey, City of Highland Park, you need to pay this person a certain amount of money. So City of Highland Park writes the check. We're the accountants for all the funds. So if you look at it as us being the accountants, and that's where we're responsible and compliant to EPA, that's how that channel operates.
Did that help any, Mr. Shafi?
Sorry.
Okay. So basically, they receive the check, they turn the check over to the city. The city then deposits the check, holds the fund for the line item that is specific to just the funds for the library construction. They submit vendors after we have coming for you with bring bids of who's going to do the construction, just like regular bids. You guys approve, then the people who win the bids will submit. They will submit their invoices for things just like all the other events, and then they get paid. The city paid them, not
HPUDI, but HPUDI is the accountant.
Okay.
So the responsible accountant.
So they keep the records, and so we'll probably have to keep the records of how much money is spent.
Okay.
If any money ends up
missing or misused, it is the responsibility of them, not the city.
Okay, so.
I see you, Madam Pro Tem.
So Madam Mayor, going on your words, the check will be received by them and then
It will
turned
be
over
in our
to the
name
city.
and it will be turned over to the city.
Okay, so there would, so the safeguard is that the check will be in our name and no one but the city of Highland Park can cash it, right?
Yes, it will come to us, the city of Highland Park cash the check,
Okay.
and it goes into the bank just like on any other.
Like a guardian ad litem, basically.
Is there any form of site control for this bill?
Is there any form? We are have the site control, they will be doing the work.
Okay, we will maintain control of the property.
Yeah, no, there is no sale of this property belongs to the city, it will stay in the city's hands, and it will be renovated by them as they go.
And I must add that, about 95% of these funds are for restoration. 3.5 million is for the city actual home improvement. This is what EPA has, I've worked with EPA very closely over the past several months putting this grant together. So we started out at a lower amount. EPA had us push it up and then push it up and say, hey, with 3.5 million that you still have to work with here, make that available to the residents of the city of Highland Park to be able to apply for home improvement grants. So if you need a new roof, if you need a new heating, whatever you need for your home that is a energy saving, environmental impact improvement, the city will have that money, 3.5 million.
Yes, Madam Pro Tem had her hand raised first, but Ms. Martin as well. Madam Pro Tem?
Okay, so this resolution is stating that we already have a partnership, correct, attorney?
It's to apply for the grant is partners, is a grant partnership with the HPUDI.
Only for the EPA grant.
Right. And that's what the resolution is for, the EPA grant.
Okay, so maybe let me put it like this. I'm gonna read the now therefore it be resolved that the city council approves entering into a partnership agreement so that the partnership once created, so that right there that says once created, so it hasn't been created already or has it been created?
It will be created upon your approval. Thank you.
Ms. Martin, you have questions?
Yes, okay, first question is, this was written today?
I don't believe so. I received an email from Director Clyburn on Friday, and George Condis from our office reviewed it and approved it. And I think he put together the partnership agreement.
Okay, we're just getting it today, though, right?
Yes, you're receiving it today. I received it Friday.
But you received it Friday?
Friday afternoon, yes.
Okay. The grant, so how much is it going to be to renovate it, and what's the first thing you're gonna work on in the library?
The first step actually in the library so far as renovation, hands-on.
Right.
So the process is that first we have to form committees. So if this is awarded by EPA, we have to form committees, stakeholders of the community to have input with what the library will look like. The next step would be to start the electricity work, the construction work. So it's a build up of plumbing, bringing the building up to code. The next section will be bringing in the resources. So we do need to make, as a requirement of the EPA, we have to make this library a resource center, which it was dubbed to be originally when it was built. And the resource center means library literacy and then community services within that building. And so we will actually start those services as well, based on what the community's input is. And we have had some inclusion studies that were very consistent as to how they want to see the library reformed. There'll be social services in the library as well on the second floor. It'll have the literacy component. So far as building it out, the contractors would answer that because I'm not a contractor, but it goes from building up workshops to have community input on how the library looks, the contractors coming in, building up the library, or renovating the library, and then the opening of the library. We have 3 years, so this spend from EPA has to be done within 3 years. And once it's awarded, we have to start immediately. We have 120 days. Within that 120 days, we have to have the plan, which I've already submitted to EPA, as to how we're going to put together the work, the stakeholders, which are representatives of the community, to meet and discuss the next steps of the library. That helps answer any of your questions.
Okay, when did you apply for this grant?
The grant, it will go in after you approve it. We can't apply for it without your approval. No. I've been working on this grant over 3 months, but I can't apply for it without your approval, and it has to go in by Wednesday.
That's why it's rushed.
The only portion that's rushed is getting in front of the council for the partnership.
Right.
Yeah, so,
Really rushed.
yes.
But yeah, you've been working on it.
With EPA just told me that the partnership agreement has to be in place before submitting. And that was about 3 weeks ago. So I had to wait for council.
Right. But you said you've been working on this 3 months. The attorney just got it on Friday. And we're continuing today.
No, so there's a grant application portion. And that application portion didn't include the partnership.
Okay.
So the partnership piece was just the past 2 weeks, I think it was.
And just for clarification, Mr. Contis from my office received it before Friday because he put together the agreement. I did not receive it in my inbox to ask to be walked on to council until Friday. So I just want to clarify that, Councilwoman. I received it on Friday.
So our last council meeting was on the 21st. It has been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks since we would have had an opportunity to convene. So we haven't had a council meeting since the third Monday in October. It had nothing to do with what Ms. Strickland was talking about. These dominoes fell and we have not had a council meeting for the past 5 weeks. So there was no opportunity for us to have this partnership discussion until today.
Mr. President, there's always opportunities for us to have.
No, ma'am, I work every day. I work every day. So we have any additional questions on this? Did Ms. Martin, did she answer all of your questions for you? Did she answer them all? Yes, sir.
Okay, so just for the record, I agree with you that we've been out for a while. But in the future, if legal could be so kind, when they get something on Friday, because we picked up our council package on Wednesday, if they get something on Friday that needs to be added in, we should have it that weekend. We should wait to the last minute. If this wasn't for the fact that this was the McGregor Library, y'all know how I am already about last minute items, I would deny this.
To his point, if it's possible that and you don't have to give us the whole thing. If you could give us a heads up.
Yeah.
If you could give us, because there is a bit of apprehension from members on council because this stuff has to be digested. With every decision that we make, we run the risk of making one additional bad decision. Okay, so that's just so to make sure that everybody actually has it to digest. Also, members of council, remember that when the legal department gets a document, sometimes it's not appropriate for them to say, hey, I just got a document that I might have to send you. They need to take the document and digest it. And if they've digested it over the weekend, mind you, these are billable hours now. If you get something at 5 o'clock on Friday and you're an attorney, your due diligence requires that you at least take this on Saturday morning with a cup of coffee and go through it before you say to your receiving client, hey, I have something for you, because it may have to go backwards. But understanding that Ms. Strickland was made aware in the past 14 days, the attorneys were made aware within the last 4 days. And as it came to us, it became a walk-on item for today due to the nature, as Mr. Shafi said, due to the severity of the concern in the community for making improvements on the library, that it came in this fashion. But to his point, that is something that we have to kind of do something about because it's been a sticking point for members.
Understood. Thank you.
Yeah, over and over. So if you could, that would allay some of the concerns and I'll just speak for the group, I'll take the liberty. When things are rushed to us, the perception is that they don't want us to look at it. They want us to just hurry up and go through and sign it. And anytime somebody gives you something quickly, just from my parents, if somebody wants you to rush and make a decision, the belief is that you'll probably make a decision under pressure that you wouldn't if you had time. So in order to get that concern out of the way,
I understand.
just a little bit more time. Yes, Madam Pro Tem.
The same respect you just said, you know, when you said that the attorney needs to call to either look at it, if the attorney needs the same thing, the process, we need that same.
That was the point I just made, to try and make sure that we had it. Yes, Madam Pro Tem.
Can we keep in mind that this development project has been on the agenda and removed from the agenda? Can we just please keep that in mind first? So this is not rushed.
Yes.
Okay, so
No, it is, they,
No.
this grant is rushed.
the partnership part is actually new. So I just let's make sure we stay on track with the item on hand. We're on 6A, the resolution to approve the execution of the EPA change grant partnership agreement with the City of Highland Park and the Urban Development Initiative to apply for up to $20 million in the United States Environmental Protection Agency Community Change Grant funds for the renovation and restoration of the McGregor Library. This motion was made by Council Pro Tem Robinson, supported by Councilwoman Manica. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll on item 6A?
Council Pro Tem Robinson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Manica.
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
No.
Councilman Ashafi.
Yes.
Council President Thomas.
Yes, motion carries. Thank you very much. So we're moving on to item 7. Thank you very much. Yep, that's a big deal. So, Madam, the motion was made by Council Pro Tem, and it was supported by Councilwoman Manica.
Reading it,
Okay, so we're moving on to item 7. This is the resolution to accept the Michigan Indigent Defense Fund grant. Number E as in Edward 202-50045-00 from the state of Michigan. This is the approval of a resolution to receive a state grant. City Council, what's your pleasure on item 7? We have a motion came from Councilman Ashafi, second came from Ms. Manica.
Yes.
Okay. City Council, I don't see questions, concerns, dissents. If not, we'll go straight to the vote on item 7. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll on item 7?
Council Pro Tem Robinson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Manica.
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin. Councilman Ashafi.
Yes.
Council President Thomas.
Yes, motion carried. We're moving on to item 8. That is the Fire Department resolution to approve the Highland Park Fire Department to apply for FEMA assistance to firefighters grant for a new fire engine. City Council, what is your pleasure on item 8?
I'm
sorry.
to approve the need to make an
Turn up.
amendment to the,
That's right, excuse me. This is the one that had the error on it, the nomenclature.
to the title. And so it should read,
Yep. It was a nomenclature error.
it should read resolution to approve the Highland Park Fire Department to apply for the Michigan Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity Grant for firefighter turnout.
Okay, I'm gonna do something just because, again, we want to make sure that, so this letter came to us from the chief. I just want to make sure for full transparency. The chief sent us this document and he said to the Honorable City Council, this letter is to bring to your attention an important matter regarding the fire resolution submitted. Despite an error in the heading, the body of the resolution remains correct to accept the grant for $83,280 for fire gear. I must express my regret for this oversight. The city clerk and I spoke today and also carbon copied this email. This error was my fault. I was rushing and not double checking. I apologize for any potential inconvenience this may have caused. Please find the correct resolution nomenclature for the proper heading attached to this email. If that is sufficient for members of council, we have a motion to approve the resolution for, make sure I read this right.
So it should read, I read it, but
Yep.
it should be receive and not to apply.
To receive,
The Michigan Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity Grant for firefighters turnout.
okay. Are we good with that? We have a motion on the floor for Councilman Al-Shafi to approve this resolution.
No. So I made the motion.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
He made it right. So,
And I made the motion with the amendment or the change, the correction.
okay, I'm sorry, Ms. Manica. So, Mr. Sharpie, well, am I comfortable to offer your support?
Support.
Okay, so the motion was made by Councilwoman Manica, supported by Councilman Ashafi to approve the resolution, item 8. You have clarity that you need, Madam Clerk?
I'm back.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and take the roll on item 8 under Fire Department. If you would, be so kind.
Council Pro Tem Robinson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Manica.
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Councilman Ashafi.
Yes.
Council President Thomas.
Yes, motion carries. Now moving on to item 9 under the community development, we have A, B, C, D, E, and F. Okay, so under community development, resolution A, let me move, make sure we get our papers all updated here. Just a second. So we are on the resolution. We're on the resolution to sell 3 vacant residential lots at 42. We have both of these lots are at 42? 42-1 and 42-2, and 44 Beresford to DMC Property Management LLC. City Council, what is your pleasure on item 9A? Yeah, those are 2 parts of the same parcel, part 1 and 2. So we have a motion to approve made by Councilman Ashafi. We have support. Chair will offer support. The floor is open for questions, concerns, deliberation.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So was that land too?
Council President,
Yes, sir.
I have been by this property. They have done an outstanding job with NIV fields. They have put up brand new fences, they have put up new lighting. They are trying to be a steward of the community. They have kept their word every step of the way. I cannot see me saying no to this particular item. They have done an amazing job. If anybody has been on Beresford, they have done an amazing job over there with cleaning up that spot, which looked horrible with trash and overflowing food out the dumpsters. All of those problems have disappeared.
All right, so this is, let me get this screen up to do the share.
Are you pulling this? Go ahead, Mr. Mayor.
Yep. Madam Pro Tem. So this is the site.
So the lots that he's purchasing, they're already.
I did question you,
fenced in, or these are additional lots?
They are cleaned up and fenced in.
It's next to the, what's it called?
You can't see that.
Yep. Okay, so there is an error in our document. That should be 42. Oh, let's get some clarification, because as I'm looking at it right now, I want to pull up addresses. Where's Mr. Clyburn? Okay, sir.
Three different parcels, so 42 is separated into 2.
So the address 42 is split into 2 parcels.
Correct.
And that, which is not uncommon. So we could probably look at the land grid. Let me pull up the land grid for, and 52, it's 44.
Isn't that next to the?
In here, it's 42.
L shop?
Okay, just give me 1 second.
Isn't that your brother lives on that street?
Where is 52? Show me where you see.
So my.
Where's 52?
Alright.
So Robinson, can she still answer?
Yes, please go right ahead, Ms. Robinson.
My question was, are these lots already lots that's fenced in, or are they additional lots?
Additional lot. So what has been fenced in
Okay.
and was it assessed?
Right.
That they didn't go over what they already additionally had. So if you notice, they tore down, they fixed it, they put a fence, but part that they did, they left unfenced. So is it accurately measured is our question. Is it accurately measured? Did we go back?
No, we did not see the survey tape on.
So this is gonna answer your question, Ms. Manica, because Regrid does a pretty good job of survey work. So you see.
I will say they did an excellent job on putting the fence and
So
paving it, but it was already there.
let me show you something that very rarely happens. You put in a request for an address and it shows Beresford, and it has a parcel number that ends in 306 and another one that ends in 305. That is the same property. That red line that's showing 42 Beresford, it's not uncommon. There are people in the city who own a piece of property that has two different parcels and one address. There are lots of us that own property.
Used to be allowed, used to allow them to split.
Yeah.
Split lots like that.
The other thing is that the city of Highland Park has some very, what's the word that's appropriate? Interesting alignments to, interesting is another way of putting it. Some of the parcel layouts in the city they harken back to when this was a village. You got the village of Fairview, you got the village of Greenfield. They all come together to make this weird city of Highland Park where you got people in District 3 that part of their backyard is in Detroit and their front yard is in Highland Park. It's very unusual. So the way that the city is cut, that I'll zoom in on that. But again, when I just did the inquiry for 42 Beresford, it came up with two parcel numbers. So this will tell you who owns this. Am I logged in? It's not telling me because I'm not logged in. So this is one, Woodward Plaza, Wayne County Land Bank, Treasurer of the City of Highland Park, Treasurer of the City of Highland Park. But this comes up as two pieces of property, two parcels, just based on the cut. Now, we would have to get an assessor and a cartographer to go back and explain why some of these parcels are the way that they actually are. I can't. I won't even begin to try.
So you said Wayne County Land Bank, and then us.
So this is the Wayne County Land Bank.
They purchased the land bank property.
So that's right. It just hasn't been registered in Regrid. This is like Google Maps. It'll update in 4 to 6 months. So that means they own all of this.
Right.
It's now a contiguous piece of land.
So do they own a piece in the red as well?
No, that's just wherever I click, it goes red.
Okay.
So this is 40 Beresford. These are the two parcels that list as 42. Again, when I put the search in, it tells me that there are two parcels. One ends in 306, the other 305. It's probably been that way for 100 years.
So if I'm looking at it correctly, that doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't make sense to the assessor for the county as well, ma'am.
It's 42, but you said that's Wayne County.
No, ma'am, listen, this says the city of Highland Park. It says the ownership, treasurer of the city of Highland Park. It lists two parcel numbers. One parcel ends in 306. The second portion of that address ends in 305.
Okay.
It's not uncommon.
So I just have a few other questions.
Go right ahead.
That is adding, I've already seen they have a nice sized parking lot current for that area. I don't know if they actually need the other part, and so where I stand is that we need housing because we need people to create revenue. And the more we just create spaces,
I see your hand, madam.
we're gonna lose out on housing. And then the other part, my second part is they're asking to buy the alley, so I think they need to vacate the alley.
So
I did see that on there. It was part of that. It wasn't just a lot. It was also to buy the alley.
I see you coming in, Mr. Clement. Let me say this though. Sitting on the zoning board, we have commercial businesses there. There's a certain minimum number of parking spaces that they have to have in order to be in compliance with the zoning ordinance. If you look at that lot, can you get 50 cars in there? Think about a wedding. Can you get 40 to 50? So I'm just, that it's a question that it's to your point. Do they need additional parking lot? The answer would be yes, because they held one event there and the cars were parking on John R. So that tells you that mind you, we also don't want to inconvenience the homeowners.
I was gonna get to that. Did anybody talk to the homeowners on that street?
I did.
Yes, but I also want to highlight this. Look at all these vacant lots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8
Yeah.
vacant. So the neighbors, again, if we go to the street behind it, the neighbors are few and far between. One of the issues that the existing neighbors would have is that when people come to a commercial event there, they're just coming to get pizza. That they are I'm just saying, this is where Little Caesars is. If they just wanted to come and get a whole bunch of people wanted pizza, due to the fact that we only have parking on the south side of the street, we are parking restricted on the actual thoroughfares. And we can't, if somebody has a family reunion, we can't get 2 cars down Rhode Island. So the need for parking for this commercial establishment to me is dire. That's my opinion. Yes, sir.
So those lots will be used as green space to give a buffer between the parking lot and the residence.
I got you.
So that's pretty much what that last lot is for.
Okay. Which makes it makes a heck of a lot of sense.
And the street vacation is not part of this package because it has to go through planning and everything like that. So they did put it in there because they're, anxious.
And let's shoot. Yeah. Let me just draw when the question about the vacating the street, the alley. If you look at this piece of alley in the back of their building, this is dead space. This is dead space.
Dead space over there, I don't have gardens.
This is dead space. True. And you're correct. This is a dead space. And so I don't know what the criteria is. Who knows? Maybe it comes to the zoning board, but they will have to plead a case for vacating that. They will have to show some justification, not used by waste management, only used by people for vagrant activities. People might dump there. Believe it or not, that even though it's right off Woodward, you might get a couple dozen tires back there. So the idea of vacating it for whatever purpose that I don't know, whatever purpose they deem, to fence it in, who knows? Maybe this would be where they put their garbage can instead of putting it right there for it to spill out on the street. We don't know. We can't say. Yes, sir.
I simply want to say this here.
Please.
For the last 2 years, I've been very adamant of trying to get as much property as I could possibly get into the hands of the residents of Highland Park. But I'm realizing something. We have to give a little bit of leeway here for businesses and developments in this city. You know what I realized? We used to have city-owned parking lots, and a lot of them still exist in the back of these buildings. Okay, you know what I'm saying? That should be something that we should be thinking about redeveloping as well as the downtown area grows. We need to repave those parking lots and give people room to park, but we have to make concessions here. I'm realizing if business is going to grow, if people are going to come into this city, parking is a premium here.
Yeah.
Okay, and as this city grows, we have to make concessions to give businesses an opportunity to survive. Because if we don't and we allow them to park on the street, it's going to constantly be a clash of residents versus businesses, and the residents are going to win out.
Agreed.
And the businesses are going to pack up and leave. They have nowhere else to go. They have to park somewhere.
Agreed.
Okay, and this business here, this Little Caesars place here, I'm telling you, the parking over there is horrible. This would give them more room. It's just a couple of lots. It's not like they're going down the whole block. It's just a couple of lots. It would give them more room to give less cars on the street and in the way. The police have to come through there on a daily basis and make people move so their traffic can flow. We have to do something. Okay, I am the first one to tell you that no doubt I am all about residents getting property. But I'm realizing if the city doesn't give some form of concession deal, we're never going to get any development in the city.
Agreed. Agreed. Yes, sir. I agree. Madam Pro Tem, I'm sorry. She had her hand up for a while.
Carlton, didn't you say that the lots they want to purchase tonight are going to be used for green space?
It's a buffer between actual parking lot and residents.
Okay, so it's not.
It's a plan.
I see you, Mr. Lackey.
To kind of to show.
No, I'm looking at, I'm just,
Okay.
because I'm here.
Yes, that's,
Yeah, this is in my head.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, I know how to read, I'm just.
that's
somebody else.
Right, yeah, okay.
Yep. Unusual. I see that. Mr. Lackey, I see your hand is up. Is that on purpose?
That's accidental disregard.
Okay, thank you. So, and we don't have any additional questions.
Ms. Martin.
Ms. Martin, I'm sorry. Yes, you did. Please go right ahead, ma'am.
I mean, so, Christine, you make a valid point. It's a gray area.
Yeah.
I mean, the issue is that area is already negative space, that's number one. They're telling no parking, but then at the same time, the residents have complained that any event that has happened in that space, everybody's been down your street, blocking their driveway. They've had numerous issues. So it's really a gray area.
Okay.
I also think, I agree with you, because I've been saying about Highland Park needs to create their own parking. So again, I just want to know, if we gave it all away, how are we going to create our own parking?
Well, we're not giving it away. This is just one instance. We don't have the kind of density. Yeah, we don't have the commercial density we don't have the type of commercial density that we would hope for. Just think about what's occurring just outside of us. We have over here with this development next to the library. That has a parking on the Woodward face. So there's parking available for that. But if we just move down the street right across from the gas station where the barbershop is, for years when I first moved here, if depending on what time of day you came on Friday, you were parking up the street, you were parking up Highland because you couldn't find a place to park on the street. So it depends on where you actually are. Even as you move further north on Woodward Avenue, across on the west side of the street, you have businesses that have parking in front of them. Everything from the auto parts store all the way up to where the bar is. And so it depends on where you are in our areas that are dense. The area that we're discussing right now is one of those critical areas because it's right next to the YMCA, which takes up such a huge footprint. Right. There really is no room. So this is a unique case where it seems appropriate. You ready?
Yeah, as we grow as a city and we grow, eventually we're going to have to come back to the table and rezone or rethink some of this non-parking, okay? It may get to a point, at one time, a Highland Park had close to 50,000 residents in this city, okay? Now, I think it'll be a while before we get there again, but I'm pretty sure that we're going to get up to 20 to 30,000.
Yes.
Very short. So we may have to think about one-sided parking down 2nd or 3rd Street. That may end up being an option for us, okay? Because these dense areas, we have to make concessions. People need, I remember when the Chrysler plant was here. Everybody's street, from Barron Park to Connecticut, was filled with cars parked on their street. And the police used to come by and mark the tires to see how long they've been there. We accepted that growth. We accepted that change because Chrysler brought $40 million worth of revenue into this city. We have to be realistic here, ladies and gentlemen. I know we love our little small town, but the fact of the matter is you have to watch what's happening here. Let's start at downtown. Downtown. From downtown to Courttown. From Courttown to Cash Corridor. From Cash Corridor to Midtown. What's next after Midtown? Hello, HD. Development is coming, whether you like it or not, and growth is going to be painful, but we can adjust. We have to make these concessions yet. I don't see anything wrong with giving this particular one incident to a thriving business that actually does pretty good business in the city of Highland Park. They're always paying. They're always paying. So we have to make those concessions and we have to be willing to bend just a little bit.
So that gate is going to be open for the people that want to go to Little Caesars and the nail place and all those places right here, right? That gate's going to be open?
Yes.
For them to be,
He told me, I personally took a tour of the place. He told me not only will it be open for all of the businesses over there, but they're gonna have a guard sitting at the gate to make sure that don't nobody bother the car.
no. Is that for that or is that for the cafe that we're not mentioning? Because we're talking about the event space. Nobody's mentioned the other little place that has also been created.
Well, it's gonna serve a purpose for all of us.
So is it servicing that or is it servicing the whole fabric? Now,
If I had to take,
okay, I already know.
I'm saying, if I had to take an honest guess, Ms. Manica, I would say that it's going to service the entire building.
I see your hand, Madam Pro Tem. So let's get back to the order on the floor, and then I'm gonna call for the vote in a moment after Madam Pro Tem.
Okay, so all of this is good and all this development and stuff. Do we have any community agreements? I see you say it's a community garden. So does that mean fruits and vegetables for the green space?
I don't know if we're in a position to. What?
Are they here? Let's start with that.
He was the first question.
No, we need some marketing then. Okay.
You can speak on behalf of.
Is anybody else here with you?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Because I don't like misrepresentation, because when we first started this, you were not the person we spoke to.
So, yeah, there.
And don't send me him.
But he's part of the team.
Yes. Just a second. Hello, sir. I've seen you here before. Let me just show this to the residents. On the screen right now is the zoning map. If you notice that purple, it's transit-oriented development. Okay, the TOD allows for a lot of latitude on the part of the city. Transit-oriented development includes a large umbrella of options for the city. You'd have to get deep into the transit-oriented development language to see that. But if you see this purple area in the map, this purple area in the map covers the area that we're discussing right now. That first block, that block of land right there, Beresford. This is all transit-oriented development, meaning, to Mr. El-Shafi's point, these are the spaces in the future where we're going to have to try and create parking to support whatever mass transit is going to come up Woodward Avenue. So I just wanted to make sure that we have that discussion there. And to the point of the representation, I am actually reassured that the business owners made sure that the people that they hired to speak to us look like us. I think that, no, I'm saying that's if I don't play golf, but if I was trying to sell something to the golf course, I would want to have somebody who knew golf to help me communicate with people who play golf. It's important. That shows that whoever the business person is at least cognizant of the fact that if they are not in alignment with or have a close relationship with the community, that they make sure and go get somebody who can speak the community's language. I think that it's business appropriate. I don't think that that's a negative thing.
Right.
I think that's business appropriate. You see that if I'm going to work with lawyers, I'm going to go hire a lawyer. If I'm going to work with somebody in the NFL, I'm going to go hire an ex-NFL player. If I'm going to work in a community like Highland Park, I'm going to go bring somebody in as my partner who can relate to the community, because that's the purpose of having a consultant. They build a bridge between whoever the development entity is and the people that they're going to be servicing. It's my opinion only. I think it's absolutely appropriate. And I think it shows again that this is just my opinion, that the developer in question is at least being sensitive to the fact that this is an issue in our community. So yeah, I'm on board with it. That's just my opinion.
Mr. President, if I may speak.
If you would, sir.
To address the issue whether the gate will be open and the guardhouse will be there for all the other businesses in that complex, it will. Presently, we have occupancy somewhere between 300 to 400 or 490. And our parking lot only holds about 60 cars from 68. So we need to expand to extend that to the first lot, give us an option to have at least 100 cars that we can guard. And then the other will expand again for it's an option. So if there's an overflow, mind you, the benefit the banquet room, well, it's not every day. You know, banquet room is only when it is, rented out. And so every day you will have for the other shop owners, their patrons to come in and park in safety. And the other issue is, I was there the other day and there's a gas station that's across the street, and over there I asked them to have a no lottery, because you go over there and people come out and they ask you for money and things of that nature. So it's better that we have the people who patronize us to be in a secure area with lighting. And you, as he said, you see the lighting is there. We've cleaned up, we spent a lot of money, and we continue to work with Highland Park and have a partnership. You know, we want to invite the fire department, the police department, and our banquet room to come down and, and have meetings and just rebuild Highland Park the way it was before. As I said, I'm in my middle 70s. I used to come here and I was proud of Highland Park. I had some people that lived at 166 Massachusetts, the boys, Cleophas Boyd, and I've seen it grow. So I am elated about the investment that we have here. I'm elated about the cleanup, and I hope that you all will support the expansion of it, and so for the safety of the people, and not only that, for the you don't want to have all the cars lined up down the street that you had in the past.
So I'm gonna stop you right there. I'm gonna wrap this up. We need to get into the vote, but I'm just gonna ask for the people in the room, about 60 people in the room. When you leave here, I want you to see how many, just 60. Let's just say there's 60. Okay, they said there's about 25 people over here, another 25 people over here, 10 of us on this side of the wall. Go and see how many cars are outside. A whole lot. Yes, ma'am. And so listen, if one of us had a baby graduating from Wayne State getting a master's degree, it'd be this many people there. Let's keep it real. If it was a homegoing service for my grandma, it'd be this many people here on a regular basis. So when you leave the building and you see the cars outside, that's what we're talking about. So with all of that deliberation taking place, I want to thank you very much for offering your contribution. I'm going to ask for the clerk to call the roll on item 9A. It's a resolution to sell the 3 vacant residential lots at 42 Parcel 1, 42 Parcel 2, and 44 Beresford to DMC Property Management. This is a motion that was made by Councilman El-Shafi, supported by the chair. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll on item 9A?
Council Pro Tem Robinson. Yes. Councilwoman Manica.
No.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Councilman Ashafi.
Yes.
Council President Thomas.
Yes, motion carries. Congratulations. We would ask if you would please be kind to if we have applied pressure, you have met the obligations that you said you were going to do, come back and talk to us again. Tell us how well things are in the spring. Share with us your progress. Be an example for the community. We need a benchmark. So please come back on a regular basis and share your success stories with our council. All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen. All right. Moving on to item 9B, resolution to accept the grant award for Michigan State Department Housing Authority, MISTA, for the Housing Readiness Incentive Grant for the purpose of updates to the City of Highland Park zoning ordinance. City Council, what's your pleasure on item 9B?
Move to approve the resolution to accept the grant award from the Michigan State Development Housing Authority for the Housing Readiness Incentive Grant for the purpose of updates to the City of Highland Park zoning ordinance.
So we have a motion made by Councilwoman Manica, supported by Councilman Ashafi with questions. The floor is open. Mr. Ashafi, go ahead with your question.
What is this money accomplished to? If you may, y'all remember? Yeah. Okay. Is this money for you to do what you need to do?
Yes.
Okay. So what are we doing exactly?
So the Mr. Housing Readiness Incentive Grant is to make improvements specific to the zoning ordinance that encourage or allow diverse and additional housing options.
Okay.
So I hear a lot of stuff about wanting to build houses and rent houses. The zoning ordinance, which controls how those houses look, where they fit, setbacks, those things. This ordinance, the grant pays for the update, so we can make sure that the regulations for the types of developments we want are in the ordinance and they can be followed.
Yes, Madam Pro Tem.
So while you're implementing and amending our zoning ordinance, can you include to have the entire stretch of Highland Park on what we're doing with downtown?
It is.
Different pot. This pot is specific.
So that's the zoning map up right here on the screen. So this blue area, that is considered a Highland Park downtown.
Okay.
That's one of the reasons why I want to put the zoning map. We had already, the current master plan includes this map.
That's not all of Woodward though, Council President.
Well, it's from Bartlett. So it's from the Joe Louis Greenway down all the way to the Davidson Freeway. That is considered our downtown.
I'm talking about the entire strip.
I don't see any reason why. I'm just speaking from my position as a chair. I don't see any reason why we can't make those changes.
I think that's separate.
Yeah.
The grant specific is for housing and housing related improvements. So if there is an appetite to allow for like mixed use type developments on Woodward, then yes, those can be incorporated.
Yes, and to your.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
To do an exclusive study and improvement of Woodward exclusively would be just outside of the scope. Not to say we couldn't do that, but it would be outside of the scope.
So it's within the purview right now. The city council has the ability to amend the ordinance. We do. We have the ability. No, hold on. This is separate. So to Madam Pro Tem's question, we have the capacity. City council has the capacity to amend ordinances.
Yes.
That includes the zoning ordinance. So if we wanted to do a study on increasing the dimensions of downtown, that is something that the members would have to actively engage in and uncover those outcomes. Obviously, you'd be working in a partnership with CED, and you would definitely want to consult with McKenna, but that's us. That's council affairs. We can do that at any time.
Council President, to the point, it is something that can happen, but this specific grant is only housing.
I saw zoning, so
Yeah, but you know, it's so many different pieces.
Okay, additional questions on this? Motion made by
Just one quick one, Council President. So you're going through and you're redoing everything. I want you to keep in mind that Highland Park is a historical city, and certain areas in this city, certain housing that doesn't fit the aesthetics of those neighborhoods. Okay, I just want you to keep that in mind. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Now, like the North End, it's more modern houses, more modern stuff that fit there. But when you get into places like Moss, Easton, Louise, these are historical areas. They have historical houses. We want development that's going to match or mimic or blend seamlessly into those historical areas. Okay?
Yes.
All right.
the entire Highland Park should be historic.
additional questions, or can we call for the vote?
Call for the vote.
Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so on item 9B, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll? Resolution to accept the grant award from the Michigan State Department of Housing for the Housing Readiness Incentive Grant for the purpose of updates to the City of Highland Park zoning ordinance. If you'll be so kind as to call the roll.
Council Pro Tem Robinson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Manica.
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Councilman Ashafi.
Absolutely.
Council President Thomas.
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you very much. And could you email me? Could you get in my email? I want to go over the actual, we might have to do a workshop on the zoning order because most people are not truly familiar with, even though I've made it available. Sometimes you need a translator.
So part of the grant and the money and everything is for community engagement.
Yeah, but let's go ahead and get cracking right now. Okay, all right. So moving on to item 9C, resolution to approve the 2024 Highland Park Building Department fee schedule. Yeah, Mr. Clyburn, stay right there. This is your whole show. This is your whole show. So we got the fee schedule in front of us. Have members had an opportunity to take a look at it?
Yeah.
I got a question on it.
Okay, wait. We got to get a resolution. We got to get that approved. So we had the chair is open to, so Ms. Manica made the resolution to approve it. It was seconded by Mr. Al-Shafi. Go ahead with questions.
Okay, so
Can I introduce?
yes, real quick. Didn't we do this just?
That was for the zoning.
Okay, that was just for
That was
zoning.
the planning and zoning.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, so this is a whole nother.
It's the total fee schedule.
Okay, all right. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So I want to introduce Sam Wood. That's how I pronounce it. Woodruff. He's with McKenna. He's a new building official.
Project manager. Project manager.
In the building department.
Correct, yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
So he'll be answering the questions.
Yeah, so I'm Sam Woodruff. Thank you, Madam Mayor, honorable members of council. I'm the Director of Building Services for McKenna. So I will be, sorry. I will be the project manager for the building services that we're going to provide the city of Highland Park. Donovan will cover all the planning work, and I will be your go-to contact person for anything related to the building department. We did have the building official, Don Jones, here with us. He had some things to take care of at home, so we will find another opportunity to introduce him all.
Okay. Are you guys in the building on a regular basis now, or you're still working out of your office?
No, well, we are staffing the department full-time.
Okay, so you're in the building.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, so I might have to just show up one day. Okay, appreciate that.
The previous guy left. I mean, they cleaned the office out. You can do the damn wall.
Okay. Okay, so again, this is the resolution to approve the 2024 Highland Park Building Department fee schedule. Ms. Martin, please go ahead.
Correct, yep.
Would you consider doing a town hall meeting for the residents?
Oh, we'd be more than happy to. Yeah, that'd be great.
I think that's an excellent idea, Ms. Martin, because we're still getting to know McKenna. So it would be nice to introduce you to the whole community. Tell us what your capacity is, you know what I mean?
I'm gonna be honest with you, they hit the ground running, so we are gonna do that. The official day was November 1st, that Monday, they was in my office already doing inspections, taking permits, picking up.
Okay.
Where it's safe.
Okay, sounds good. And I don't see any additional questions, so we can go ahead and take a vote on item 9C, resolution to approve the 2024 Highland Park Building Department fee schedule. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll on item 9C?
Council Pro Tem Robinson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Manica.
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Councilman Ashafi.
Yes.
Council President Thomas.
Yes, motion carries. Thank you very much, gentlemen. So now we're gonna move on to item 9D, the resolution to sell the vacant residential adjacent lot at 24 and 30 Highland to Tamara Petaway. Ms. Petaway here tonight?
Yes.
Okay. So council, what is your pleasure on item 9D?
I move to approve.
So we have a motion on the floor from Councilwoman Manica to move to approve the sale of the vacant residential adjacent lots to Ms. Petaway. The chair will offer support. Do we have any questions, concerns, or can we go straight to the vote?
Questions, Council President.
Okay, so Mr. Shafi, go ahead with your questions.
Okay, so, you know me, I always come out and I always visit these sites. So, you know, we already have a lot. So, I'm concerned about the language. It says adjacent.
That means
adjacent is next door. Okay, now I want to take you back to the middle of this year. So Royal Blue House is sitting on Louise, who wanted a lot that was right behind him, but it was across the alley. And he said that was adjacent. We told him that was not adjacent. Okay, and we denied him because it wasn't adjacent. Adjacent is to the right or to the left of you, right next to you on the same street. These lots are across the street.
It should be.
And across the alley.
It shouldn't say adjacent.
Okay, so you know, I'm concerned about the language of adjacent, and I don't want to open a bad door here. I don't want to say no, but we need to fix this one here, okay? I don't want to say no, but if we say yes here, then where does that leave the man on Louise? He's gonna feel some kind of way, I guarantee.
So he can come back.
Okay.
So.
And the lady on Moss.
Yes. The old Moss as well.
We are selling lots.
Okay.
Okay, but this language, adjacent shouldn't be in it.
Okay.
It should just be lots at 24 Highland and 30 Highland.
Okay.
Because we have done that as well.
Yeah.
So adjacent shouldn't be on it. So that is.
Okay, so
before I amend it, can you finish if you have anything else?
Yeah, so we selling for $1,000. It's 2 lots. What do you plan on doing with this particular lots?
We plan on doing overflow parking, soft green space between the the new apartment building that's being built right now. We have several small businesses in our building. We have 6 small businesses in our building, and we always run into parking issues. A couple days ago, yeah.
I'm surprised that y'all allowed to park on Woodward. I didn't make it no lie.
Yeah. We, so what we would like to do is purchase those 2 lots and then have entryway through the back into our business as well. So we'll have front entry on Woodward and then open up the back so you can enter the businesses from the backside as well.
Okay, so parking, okay.
So I didn't even know, Mr. Petway, as I'm seeing you standing here right now, I'm thinking, back when I used to get a haircut, I used to see you more often.
I know.
Because I was one of those people who was trying to find parking on a Friday. It's just apropos that you are here doing this. You and your family's historic commitment to business in the community is something that y'all was some of the first people that I came in contact with when I moved here. That going sit in that barbershop had a lot to do with how I felt about this community and staying here. So I'm very pleased to see you here. And that's been an issue that every patron that has gone to the barbershop was like, man, we only had some parking in the back. So that's a wonderful thing. I'm actually glad that you're here. We have additional questions and concerns. Ms. Manica, you wanted to amend your motion as well, Ms. Manica? Go ahead, Mr.
Petway, just do what's one small thing. And it's one thing I ask everybody, just keep your word.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Take care of your business, take care of your family, and keep your word to it. That's all we ask. Okay.
We're old school Highland Parkers. We got long roots here. We definitely.
I like that. All right.
Yep. So, yeah, Ms. Manica, do we want to ask for a language? So Ms. Manica had made a motion. I don't know if you're gonna have to rescind it. We do the process.
I rescind my original motion.
Ms. Shafi, I made support from the chair, so I will leave the floor open for motions to be made on item 9D.
So now I'm making another motion to accept the resolution to sell the vacant residential lots at 24 Highland and 30 Highland to applicant Tamara Pepper.
Okay.
With the necessary corrections in the language.
And that correction will be the removal of the word adjacent?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So Mr. El Shafi has taken the place of the chair and offering support. So we will go ahead and call the roll on item 9D. The resolution to sell the vacant residential lots at 24 and 30 Highland to Tamara Petway. Go right ahead.
Council President Robinson?
No.
Councilwoman Manica?
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin?
Yes.
Councilman Ashafi?
Absolutely.
Council President Thomas?
Yes, motion carries. Congratulations, sir. Okay, moving on to item 9E, resolution to sell the vacant residential adjacent lot at 15 Grove to the adjacent property owner at 17 Grove, High Horse LLC, a Michigan limited liability company. City Council, what is your pleasure on item 9E? Are the, yeah.
Hello.
Good evening, ma'am. How are you?
Good. My name is Kelly Wilson, owner of High Horse. I purchased 17 Grove and I'm going to turn it into a affordable shared living space for young women. And I want the privacy next door to it, to fence it in and do a garden.
Okay. Additional questions, concerns for our applicant here today? Okay, Madam Clerk, could you go ahead and call the roll on item 9E?
Council Pro Tem Robinson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Manica?
Yes. I don't know who made the motion.
Council.
Nobody made a motion.
Forgive me, I'm still thinking we stand on the motion from the last. I'm sorry. It's a long day. We need to get a,
Motion to approve.
we have a motion from Councilman El Shafi, seconded by Council Pro Tem. If you would go ahead and call the roll on the resolution to sell the vacant residential adjacent lot at 15 Grove to the adjacent property owner at 17 Grove.
Council Pro Tem Robinson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Manica.
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
No.
Councilman Ashafi.
Yes.
Council President Thomas.
Yes, motion carries. Forgive me, ma'am. It's been a long day. Thank you very much. Okay. Last one, under community development.
Sweetheart, young lady, I'm sorry, what's your last name?
Wilson.
Ms. Wilson? I'm like Mr. Shafi right now. I just ask that you please do what you said you're gonna do. You haven't done the first part yet. So we give you the second part to go with. We're just asking that you.
Okay.
And give us an update.
Please just keep your word.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah. So last one under item 9, a resolution to approve the sale of the commercial lot at 15 Victor to Crescent Property LLC. Crescent Property Group LLC. City Council, what's your pleasure?
Say, a pad with this booklet. Okay. Support with question. Well, no.
I think.
Questions.
Okay, so we have a motion from Councilman Ashafi to approve the resolution to approve the sale of the commercial lot at 15 Victor. He wants to approve it with questions. Do we have support?
I have a question. Are you asking for that approval? You
So-
just wait question because you, that motion because you just want to ask the question?
I got some questions, yes, ma'am.
The chair will offer support so that we can get this on the floor. So the motion is on the floor with questions. Mr. Ashafi, go right ahead.
Okay, Council President, and this goes to Carlton Ward too. Have we figured out if that lot is 15 Victor or not?
Yes, that's split.
I remember.
Okay, yeah, that was some.
Across the street is 20 now.
Okay,
So it has been split.
okay, all right. What's the price tag we're selling this commercial lot for? What is it, $10,000?
Ooh,
Is the building for 15?
okay.
Yes, 10,001.
Oof.
Is it a building with that?
I see you, Madam Pro Tem.
The building is 25 Victor.
Okay, yeah. So,
Okay, so it's just a lot.
It's just a lot, yes. That's from the assessor.
yeah, okay. So it's worth noting, boy, I hate opening cans of worms.
Are you going to share this lot with the adjacent building next to you?
Okay, so let me just do this because it's my job.
Okay, Council President, go ahead.
And I'm not crazy about it because I know there has to be an answer. So again, I just put in 15 Victor. And they said it was fixed.
So the new, in February.
Okay, that's you already had me in February.
Okay.
'Cause it takes 10 to 12 months to get it
Yeah,
fixed.
yeah.
Okay, because I was scared to death.
The whole new booklet comes out in
Okay.
February, so a lot of, you'll see a lot of the property sales that you don't see now, like with the.
Okay.
Stuff like that. In
Yes.
February, the new stuff will take action, but it's done, so it does have its own parcel ID.
Okay.
And everything.
Thank you so much for that. Because when I went to search, I was just like, oh, what is it? 950? Anyway, thank you very much for telling me that it's on the rotation. That means within 10 to 12 months, it'll be done. So I don't have any additional questions. Members of council, any additional questions from you? Yes, Ms. Manica, go ahead. I'm sorry, Ms. Martin, go
Mine is
ahead.
more of a statement.
Yep.
Here we are again. When is the city gonna consider creating parking for the city to create revenue? Because once you give them 15, now you're gonna have to give the person on the other side, is it 20?
Yeah.
20, and so now, here we go, there's no parking for us, there's nothing for the city. And that's the downtown area, that's not down the street, that's the downtown area. And then Go to the other side. I just wanna know,
So
where do we create revenue? Because we've also given away.
I see your
all the
hand,
lots.
Mr. Madam Pro Tem, I'll get you.
We give away all the lots, so no.
I'm sorry. Then when she gets finished, go ahead and jump right in.
We don't have parking meters or no parking situation at all. And every city that I know that I go and visit currently is getting revenue for parking. They give
got a
2
point.
hours free parking, and then after that, it's on you. But when are we gonna consider assets or things to bring revenue into Highland Park?
The consideration is already.
Got a point.
It is being considered, the consideration is in place. So as we build out our downtown, there are some other areas identified where we will be able to meter the parking for the downtown area, like behind where Cottage Grove, like with downtown, yeah, that parking lot. So that's, the city is looking at that.
Okay.
But right now, we're not in a position to really do that. Okay. But it is being considered. And as far as housing and all of those things like development, bringing in income, that's why we brought in a planning firm to help us get ready, because we just can't develop right now. So with the housing, research, and zoning orders, all of that stuff goes into play. So we can develop and build houses and development, so we can get this property back on the tax roll and move out.
I do understand.
So there is consideration.
I just been saying this though,
Yeah.
because
It's
we
a
mess around
process.
and we sell it all, and
We
then
got,
we have to
we
try
got,
to buy
we
it
got
back.
over 1,450 parcels. Personally, the county got 400, the state got 300, so.
Where are we going with that? That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah,
So those things are being considered.
Yeah, Madam Pro Tem, please.
On your developer intake form, it states that you're paying cash. You paying cash for the lot? Cash to who?
The treasurer. Go straight to the treasurer. The treasurer says so.
So you said you didn't take the application?
Yeah, some application, but I didn't, if you say you're paying cash, cash can be this currency.
I know.
So it didn't pull no red flag.
Right, well, here to me.
Council President, I
Yes.
got one question.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay.
Wait a minute, hold on 1 second. Madam Pro Tem, did you have any additional questions? Did you have any additional questions, Madam Pro Tem? You all set? Okay, Mr. Shafi, go ahead.
This question is to my colleague, Ms. Manica.
Mhm.
Do you think that the lot would be better served as a city asset?
I do. I do, because I travel a lot, I go a lot of places, and those businesses they're booming, but guess what? They don't have the parking space in the back.
Okay.
They have a parking lot. The city has a parking lot, and the businesses just hold their businesses, and then some of them might have a little space, but they're not worried about parking, because the city provides the parking.
I agree. Let me just chime in before we call for the vote. I agree with the position of my colleague over here to my right, to your left, because I go to Ferndale, Royal Oak, Huntington Woods. I go to those cities. I go all the way up to Pontiac or Woodward Avenue, and there are places to have parking in the back. However, this is how I would challenge that point of view. And it's not really a challenge, it's just another perspective. That's in the Tifa area. And so we do have to create momentum, and we have to create the type of business density that would demand municipal parking. Right now, the only people who use that area to park in are the people who go to the block club meetings. That's it. So there's nobody using that space over there right now that would, at this stage of this process, create a sense of urgency around getting municipal parking. However, because it is in the Tifa, I think that Mr. Clyburn will take to heart the comments about future revenue opportunities and maybe earmark some areas based on what we are also after a traffic study, because we have to, as we build municipal parking, we have to consider where will the people land when they come off the Davidson Freeway. They use the service drive. Typically, they spill into the service drive right at Davidson and Woodward Avenue. Which direction would they turn? Would they go to the north or the south? When they enter the city from 6 Mile south into Highland Park, where are the places that would draw people to pull over and park? Think about Cakes and Shakes right now. If you're going to Cakes and Shakes and you're coming from north to 7 Mile, you have to navigate where you're gonna park. And you've already decided, I'm gonna turn in this cul-de-sac. So that's your strategic way of going to a business that you patronize today. In the future, depending on what, if there's a development right at the Highland Towers, changes the whole conversation. Once the Joe Louis Greenway is here, changes the whole conversation. In the future, we'll have more defining, it's just my opinion, we'll have more defining information that'll help us identify the best place for municipal parking. And to Mr. Clyburn's point, land is something we got a bunch of. So Mr. Clyburn, I agree with my colleagues here to my right.
Yeah, but
It's easy money. What Ms. Martin and what Ms. Manica are saying, it's easy money. We already got the land. All we got to do is slap some concrete on it, and that's a way for us to make revenues. The only caveat to that is right now nobody's parking back there for any reason other than to go to the firehouse. Red Hots is gone. So there's really nobody parking on Victor. The bakery is gone.
So first of all, you have to travel the city to know that. Not that you don't.
Well,
But they are parking over there. They are parking wherever they need to park, and I live and I see it. I go to the TIF meetings to go back to that. So Mr. Clyburn already knows my opinion about it, and so does the TIF board. And anybody else who's asked that question. Because it's just as simple and easy as we finding the money to go ahead and pay it and do something. But that's my opinion. And again, it would bring revenue. There's a free parking on the other side with Family Dollar, and they don't use all of that. So parking is they are parking. People are parking, and they don't park where they want to park. The point is, are we gonna get revenue for them parking there and going there? Because things are happening in the city that we're not paying attention to evidently. Because it's already happening. And I'm not against any business. What I'm for right now is what's going to thrive our city and move us forward. So it's not that I'm against the businesses or the development, I'm trying to create situations that we bring revenue to Highland Park.
All right.
so you said we have a bunch of parcels in the city, but how much of that is really in our downtown Highland Park?
Okay, I'm gonna try to answer that question for you. Okay. Okay, I'll see what we can do to get a clear picture of this.
I've been talking about revenue coming in the city for years.
But we can call for the vote.
Yeah, let's call, well, okay. Let's do that.
And please still provide
We can do a study on
with
that.
information.
So let's go ahead and call for the vote on item 9F, resolution to approve the sale of the commercial lot of 15 Victor to Crescent Property Group LLC. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll on item 9F?
Council Pro Tem Robinson.
No.
Councilwoman Manica.
No.
Councilwoman Martin.
No.
Councilman Ashafi.
I'm gonna have to go with no.
I'm sorry,
I'm gonna have to go with no.
Council President Thomas.
Yes, I'm the only lone person that figured we should sell this to. I'm sorry, sir. I guess there's a potential we could see you here again. All right, thank you for that, members of council. We're moving on now to item 10 under the Department of Water. This is the first item, 10A, resolution requesting the public advertisement for purposes of receiving construction bids for the water master meter project. Let us go with 15.
I move to, we're on 10A, right?
Yeah.
Not, oh, because they changed, right? I'm sorry. Resolution to request public advertisement, is that the one we're on?
Yeah.
Okay. I move to approve the resolution requesting the public advertisement for purposes of receiving construction bids for the water master meter project. Second.
So we have a motion on the floor from Councilwoman Manica that is requesting the approval for this resolution. We are supported by Council Pro Tem. Questions, concerns, or can we go straight to the vote?
Got some questions, Council President.
Go ahead, Mr. Shafi. Here we go.
Yes.
One up here, yeah. So, where are we on this? I mean, take so long. Because the residents are definitely, they've been on my behind about it.
Okay, so the short answer is there was 8 months of modeling and back and forth with Gleewood to determine where these locations were gonna go, okay? So on top of doing that, we had 2 parallel paths going, and they also were being designed. And none of this was being done by us, this was being done by third parties. So if you're talking about from the beginning to, hey, we want to do master meters and they're going to be in the ground, you're talking about 18 months. So it's not like because the settlement was done in April that we were dragging our feet. The day before the 1st of May came, we're in those meetings with Eagle and Gleewood every week for 7 months straight. So it's not a situation where it could have been done 3 months ago or 4 months ago. Actually, to get these in the ground and constructed by April of 25 is a Herculean feat. So that's the answer to that question.
So are we, so you said that it's a major feat, but how likely are we to pull that off?
Oh, we know.
I mean, if you wasn't betting me, what odds would you give yourself?
I'm gonna give them 100.
100%.
Yeah, you know why? You know why? Because all hockey sticks gonna break loose if it doesn't. That's real talk.
We are honoring our end of the agency.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right.
We pushing that train as fast as we can push.
Everybody's been paid, no problems, no headache, no hiccup on our end, everything is okay.
That's correct.
Our Council President, I yield back.
Yes, Ms. Martin, go right ahead.
So with these meters coming in, does that mean that, the taxpayers, their bills going to change?
Oh, I love that question. What it means, I'm gonna tell you what it means, what I can tell you. Is it means that for the first time since 2012, when the plant shut down, we will actually be able to measure the water happening. That's what I'm gonna tell you, because that's what I know. Now, all kinds of conversation about bills going up, bills going down. I don't really know, because when we flick the switch, we gotta see how much water is coming across it, because everybody heard talking about these leaks and all of this stuff. Well, that would be the first time that we know what the retail sales are. We know how much water we sell. But what we don't know is the difference between that and what Lewa said that we use. So once we flick the switch on the meters, we start getting some real readings, then we can start determining. Now, my professional belief is that I know that that total consumption number that they have been talking about is gonna go down. Now, what we're gonna have to fight is, they know that we're putting new water main in the ground, they know we got meters, and so the benefit that we're getting, they're gonna be fighting us on the other end, trying to take the rate that we pay, that they send the Highland Park dollars up, right? So they don't really wanna see that really the delta go down. So we're gonna be fighting that battle, but we can at least say, no more black box about the water use and all that. That was the 10 years of litigation that is now behind us, that we can say, hey, we got the meters in the ground, we actually know what we're using, and we know what the leaks are. So that's what the bill should be. So I would love to sit here and say the bill is going down, but I would be telling the story. And just like somebody else said here, remember 6 months ago, Mr. Garrett, you said, you know that, right? I'm not going there tonight. Not going there tonight.
Yep. I'm ready. Any additional questions after Ms. Martin? Okay, so on item 10A, resolution requesting public advertisement for the purpose of receiving construction bids for the water master meter project. Motion made by Councilwoman Manica, supported by Council Pro Tem. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll on item 10A?
Council Pro Tem Robinson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Manica.
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
Yes.
Councilman Ashafi.
Yes.
Council President Thomas.
Yes, motion carries. Moving on to item 10B, resolution permitting the City of Highland Park Water Department to submit a letter to GLEWA requesting a periodic review and reopener of minimal annual flow volumes and maximum flow rates as provided in the water service contract between the Great Lakes Water Authority and the city of Highland Park. City Council, what is your pleasure on item 10? So we have, so we have a motion made by who got it out first?
Shafi.
Mr. Shafi, supported by Pro Tem, or supported by, okay, they're ready to go home. Okay, so go right ahead.
My request is, could the council get a copy of that letter?
Absolutely.
That's it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a real, it's gonna be a ball buster.
It's not gonna be long.
Okay. All right. On item 10B, resolution permitting the city of Highland Park Water Department to submit a letter requesting periodic review. We have a motion on the floor from Councilman Shafi, supported by Council Pro Tem Robinson. If you would call the roll on item 10B.
Council Pro Tem Robinson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Manica,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin,
Yes.
Councilman Ashafi,
Yes.
Council President Thomas.
Yes, motion carries. Moving on to item 10C, resolution permitting the city of Highland Park Water Department to submit a letter to Eagle and Gleewood confirming the dates for commencing the 12-month metering period after the installation of the 3 water master meters. City Council, what's your pleasure? So moved.
Second with that same request.
Council, motion made by Councilwoman Manica, supported by Pro Tem Robinson. That request again is a copy of the letter. We'd like to be CC'd.
No, that's 3 seconds.
Okay. All right, haven't heard consent from members. I'll go ahead and call for the vote on item 10C.
Council Pro Tem Robinson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Manica,
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin,
Yes.
Councilman Ashafi,
Yes.
Council President Thomas.
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, council, for moving through the main agenda. We have citizens participation. Remember, council affairs is ours. So for citizens participation, I'm holding you to 2 minutes exactly. We still have another portion of our agenda to get through. 2 minutes exactly, folks. I don't see anybody coming to the podium. Go right ahead, sir.
Thank you. I was kind of sweating it out earlier, but I got my composition now. So I know water is a soft subject in this municipality, but again, I will extend the invitation that I extended 5.5 hours ago when this meeting started, that I will be personally going to Washington, D.C., going to the House of Representatives, asking the EPA for money so that we can reestablish the very cute, fertile, supple pump station that we have on the northeastern side of this municipality. Every water quandary issue, this, that, and the other thing that we have is because we're dealing with a conglomerate, monopoly, crooked, et cetera situation. And we could have our own water forever. So again, I will extend the invitation. I will be going out to DC before 1/1/25. And just real quick, as an aside, I was taking a walk through this lovely city, as I usually do, about a week ago, and I had the distinct privilege of ripping down 60 anti-Semitic flyers off of 2 city-owned buildings. One was next door to the Sherwin-Williams, and the other was Highland Towers. I'd just like to bring that to the attention of the city. As I say, they were on city-owned buildings, and I tried to properly report it here at the city hall, and the lovely man working the desk threw the flyers down to the ground and said, "I don't want your trash." So I made a report with the Highland Park Police Department, but that won't save my life. So I just wanted to bring that to the attention of council and the citizens. If you see a flyer around town that said, oh, there's my time. Sorry, thank you.
Thank you, sir. That's not how we do it.
Hi, my name is Brian Donovan. And I just wanted to say something about the agenda. It does seem like council should have its own section of the regular agenda, that there doesn't feel like there should maybe be proposals in the council affairs section. I think that's time when council is able to kind of talk about generally what's happening in their district or around the city. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Hello again. Lisa Stolarski. I am the elected treasurer of Highland Park, and I would just like to offer, if anybody else would like, a copy of the 2 bonds that I did get in the spring that were offered to me, and also a schedule that I created of various local communities and how much their treasurers are bonded for. I have them right here so that you can understand a little bit better what's going on when we have our conversation during council affairs. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. And just for the record, that's a conversation between the members of council. It's not, we won't be having a conversation with the audience. We're gonna be having a conversation with the members of council.
All right.
Okay, how you doing, Ms. Fry?
I'm all right. I wanted to say, boy, this mic so low tonight. If you were way in the back, you couldn't hear. I didn't understand, like, in the Wayne County Land Bank, how much were they offering and how much did we settle for?
No, I think that's all gonna be public information. I mean, I think once the case is settled, but right now, I don't think we're at liberty to disclose that.
Okay. The attorney said after the case is settled, Ms. Fry, it'll become public information, but we can't discuss it until it's actually settled.
The settlement agreement with Wayne County Land Bank. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that was a subject of closed session.
Oh, okay.
They voted on it, but.
So it was approved, it can't be shared like it's
They
approved.
owed us $550,000 and they agreed to pay.
Oh, awesome. Beautiful. Thank you for
But,
that.
but
I
it
didn't
still
know
has to
that.
be entered by the court.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the council came out and approved it, so they didn't know the amount.
Okay.
Yeah. Dang, I was thinking it was millions. But that's good. Thank y'all. Y'all did a good job this evening. I really appreciate it. And have a good holiday. Happy Kwanzaa to everybody and a Merry Christmas and all that good stuff. Because I understand we won't see each other till next year. Great job.
We have another meeting?
We have.
We still have a meeting.
I thought so. I thought it was.
Now, on that land for that young man with Crescent. He should have gotten that land. Because you just voted for another person to get 4 pieces of land. And the parking is gonna get difficult. And I think if you have a business in the city and you've suffered through all the hard times, why bring the new times up with the new ideas? And he only asking for 1 parking lot. He should have gotten that parking lot. This city needs meters. I've suggested meters 15 years ago. In the meter system, they will pay for, nobody will have to pay. The meters, they split the money with the city and themselves. That is something that the city should look into, getting parking meters. That should be a good thing. But however, those parking meters could be installed on those properties as well. You have a good.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, and I don't see anybody coming up to the podium, which is good because we can move into council affairs. So the very first item. I'm sorry, I got to go and get the folks online. Hold on just 1 second. Right now, this is just for, we wrapped it up and. Come on, ma'am. I'm sorry. So ma'am, if you already told us what your issue was, is there anything additional that you were gonna share with us?
Y'all been talking about getting more together, but I haven't really heard anything about y'all saying trying to fix the pipes so we can get back in our house.
Can't hear you.
See, now I have to stay out of my house.
So
we can do here.
I'm living with relatives. Sometimes I'm staying in my car so I can keep an eye on my house because they've been breaking in people's houses on Grove and
So-
the lady next door to me making me going complaining on me, and somebody tried to break in her house.
So here's one of the most difficult things about sitting in this chair. We are the audience, but we don't necessarily have the tools or the capacity to solve the problems that the residents have. We make legislative decisions. We vote on business items for the city, but we don't necessarily have the capacity. Members of this council will probably come out and visit you at your home. They'll help you as much as they individually can, but we don't have the authority or the leverage. In this instance, you mentioned the library. That project is 20 years in the making. We're just seeing the.
I understand what you're saying. I'm looking at it. I'm out of my house.
I invited Ms. Johnson to here tonight so that she could get some answers.
So, Madam Pro Tem, to that point, who will be the person to provide those answers for her?
Somebody from the water department.
Question,
Has to speak to.
is it broke on the inside of the house or is it broke at the curb?
It broke down by the curb by the service line.
Okay. Okay, so again, the timer is about to run out, and I want to say that I still got the letters. I know everybody out here that got a letter at home, they got the letters too. And the letters that came from the water department to talk about service line, get your letter or have reference to it. There was a delineation between what was the responsibility of the homeowner and where the city's obligation ended. Because I don't know your situation, because none of us know your situation, we're not in a position to even estimate. We're not engineers. Even if we eyeballed it right now, I don't know if we could say this is a city issue or this is an issue with the residents. But every single homeowner in the city of Highland Park is grappling with the same scenario that you are potentially grappling with. Where it comes in contact with our property, then we're responsible. And I do remember the letters that I received at my house that said, if you're a property owner and you have some sort of catastrophic failure of this line, it becomes your responsibility. They did offer some sort of, am I right to call it an insurance policy? It went all up and down my block. I'm sure it went all up and down other blocks as well. So again, it's very difficult for us to hear you. Like if you was drowning, I can promise you everybody in here, whether we could swim or not, would jump over the side of the boat to pull you in. But in a situation right now where you're suffering, we don't have the capacity to render you any type of relief. The fact that the point is, again, you're in the water, I can't swim. I got a choice of,
But can you at least do a rope out?
I'm just saying, we don't have the tools. I said at the very beginning, we don't have the tools. I'm sure all of us would love to have those tools. The 5 of us just do not. We don't have the tools. We have the ability to approve a resolution. Our power is in the pen. We vote up or vote down on something. If your issue came to the city, then the 5 of us could vote up or vote down on it. We don't have the authority to do anything other than as legislative members to vote items up or down. The people who need to hear you are in the room, but that's the full extent of our capacity. And I'm saying that not because I'm certainly not dismissing you. I just want to make sure you understand where we are, where the 5 of us are. There's very little that we can do to help. Unless somebody can tell me, unless there's a member in front of me, and then we're getting off of citizens' comments, we're diverting from that process. If there's a member sitting here that is a member of city council that can tell me specifically what we can do or what you can do to address this citizens issue, then that's kind of the cards that we're dealt.
The citizens elected us. We're here to help them.
Okay, so again, what capacity do we have? How are we empowered?
You can't solve that issue. You come down to the service center where we do that business. You can't do it.
Okay, again,
I can't do it tonight.
that's what I'm saying. So ma'am, you need to go again. So we are
Up here at the glory.
right at the shopping center.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep.
What time?
Just call the number on the phone cars and the girls will get set.
All right, thank you, ma'am. And again, I'm sorry that we can't do more for you.
It's been a month, 2 weeks.
Been more than a month. I got a text.
I asked you the question, if it was broken on the outside or broken at the curb, if it was broken on the inside of your home, I would have came over personally, dug it up and fixed it.
No, it's
Yeah.
broke at the service line.
Okay.
They have to
Okay.
dig and.
Yeah,
water
yeah.
tank.
And I don't have the equipment,
Our
nor the
water
permit
pipe-
to break up that concrete.
And see, our water pipe is in the lady's yard.
Okay, so man, what I'm gonna have you do is, we still have a major legislative issue. I'm gonna ask y'all to go ahead and take your seat. What we have to do on the agenda next may take a long time. We've gone over our time, and I do respect your issue, but I'm gonna have to move along in the agenda because we still, yeah, we're gonna be here probably till midnight on our legislative issues, so I'm just saying. So I'm gonna close citizens' comment for people in the room, and we're gonna move online. I have Yolanda waiting online to go ahead and be unmuted. Your hand is raised. Yolanda, could you go ahead?
Yes, good evening, Highland Park. Shout out to
Evening.
City Council. I think you guys had a great meeting. I'm very excited about the sales of the property. My only concern and my only pause is when we're having City Council members begging those people who want the property to do what they said. So my question is there not a timeline or any language in the contract that they enter in to purchase the property of a development time and then coming in and updating council? Is there anything like that? Because if not, then we'll have what like I have right now next door to me, a pit bull in a fenced-in yard. Right. So and that doesn't lend to any properties being sold down here on this in the 6 Mile Hamilton area. So I just want to make sure when we're doing that, we have that in place. And can anybody answer if we have that at all?
Yeah, there's a clawback clause, and I believe there are some basic statutory requirements that have to be met.
And are those enforceable by our city code enforcer?
For that, we'd have to do a little digging. I will refer everybody in the meeting. Please take a look at the website. The city ordinance is there. The zoning ordinance is there.
Okay.
So that you can go and get some of those. Also, copies of the sales agreements should be online now. I'm leaning in. Hopefully I'm correct in saying that. All the paperwork that you would need for a land purchase is available on the website. You should be able to print those out.
Okay, so you're saying print them out and do my research?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That way you have definitive information.
Right. I appreciate that, and I will do it. I'm gonna bring it back up too, because that just doesn't make sense. But thank you. You all have a good evening.
All right, thank you, ma'am. So I'm gonna bring citizens' comment to a close, and we will move into council affairs, starting first with the resolution to add Reverend Saint Richard A. Smith Street as a secondary name of the Highland Street to celebrate his and the First Lady's 50th pastoral anniversary. So let me just say this first. I'll read this resolution into the record. This is the resolution to add, hold on. We had a motion made by Councilman El Shafi. I think it was seconded by Council Pro Tem.
It was.
Okay. I think it is for the sake of, forgive my alarm here. I want to make sure that that's off. Okay. Whereas the Highland Park City Council would like to formally recognize the contributions of Reverend Saint Richard A. Smith to the city of Highland Park, and whereas Reverend Saint Richard A. Smith served as pastor for the Prayer Temple of Love Cathedral and was a respected pillar of the community for over 50 years, and whereas Reverend Smith moved with the congregation of Prayer Love Temple of Cathedral to their current location at 12375 Woodward Avenue in July of 1977, where he served the Highland Park community by working to maintain and beautify the city, providing guidance and leadership, and maintaining peace on Highland during challenging times. And whereas Reverend Smith served as a human rights commissioner and organized Operation Feed All, funded by Wayne Metro, and fed the community for 25 years. In the church's activity center, Reverend Smith also organized the PTLC drug program, mental health counseling, homework help, and the PTLC education tutorial computer programming for students K through 12th grade. Now, therefore be it resolved that the Highland Park City Council now declares Highland Street to now and forever be known as Reverend Saint Richard A. Smith Street, and such honor shall be memorialized by the placement of a street sign indicating such on the corner of Highland Street and Woodward Avenue. This resolution a motion has been made by Councilman Kashid Al-Shafi, seconded by Council Pro Tem Charmaine Robinson to enact this resolution. Do we have questions, concerns? Hearing none.
I just have one, Council President.
Yes, sir.
I hope that in the future that we can honor all the great citizens of this community. And we can honor them while they're alive and not dead.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right.
Honor them while they're alive. And I say that because Bishop Evans has also been waiting for his street to be renamed as well.
Yes,
So
sir.
may we honor those that are alive and honor those that fought for us and stood up for us now that they have passed on. Amen.
Yes, sir. Okay, so Madam. Yeah, yes. Madam Clerk, if you will be kind enough to call the roll on item 11A.
Council Pro Tem Robinson.
Yes.
Councilwoman Manica.
Yes.
Councilwoman Martin.
No.
Councilwoman Ashafi.
Okay.
I'm saying yes.
Council President Thomas.
Yes, motion carries. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that, those words of encouragement. So moving on to item 11B, that's a resolution regarding the approval of the bond for the office of the treasurer. City Council, what's your pleasure on item?
Just when I thought I was out, Council President.
Yes, sir. Members, what's your pleasure on item 11B?
Can I go to the bathroom?
No.
No, let's go ahead. We almost at 11 o'clock, y'all. So let's so what are we doing with this resolution? As the members know very well, the chair is not in a position to make a motion. That is left to the 4 members on the floor.
I move to approve the resolution regarding approval of a bond for the office of the city treasurer with discussion and question.
Second.
So we have a motion on the floor from Councilwoman Manica, second by Councilwoman Martin. The floor is open for discussion on the resolution pending.
Oh, I'm allowed a floor for questions.
I beg your pardon? You open up the floor for questions? Mr. Al-Shafi?
Council President.
Mm-hmm.
I think you know why. I wish to God that this just simply just go away. My concern and my question is at this point, at this moment, when this election is certified tomorrow, what are the legal implications if this is wrong and incorrect? What's going to happen to us?
Mr. Bostic?
Could you be more specific in terms of what's wrong or incorrect?
So I am looking at some bonds, okay? I did ask you to look into that. But my concern at this point is we've stalled this out for so long. I mean, oh my God, it's been stalled out for so long. Now that Mr. Larson is duly elected and it will be certified tomorrow, she won. It is what it is. I don't see that changing now one bit. They her only got 230 votes. She got close to 3,000. Okay, so my concern is if we mess around here with this resolution at this time, does this put us in any form of legal jeopardy, or should we simply just allow the county to handle it?
Well, the council has the option of requiring a bond for the office of city treasurer. The county is going to require a bond for the office of city treasurer. Right now, my understanding is that there's an insurance policy that offers some coverage, but nowhere near the coverage that may be required for the amount of dollars that's handled by the office. The county requires 40% of the tax levy, so that would be $5 million bond the county's going to require. So I think the thinking behind the resolution was that the city would also offer a similar type of protection for the levy, for the revenues that are brought in. And this just concerns tax revenues. There are numerous pension fund revenues and all sorts of different revenues that aren't even contemplated by this resolution. What the resolution would do is it would direct the administration to acquire a blanket bond or increase the blanket bond to protect the city. And in the event that that blanket bond is not obtainable by a sufficient amount, then the treasurer would have to obtain the amount here of $5 million as far as a bond goes.
Okay, so does it say that in this resolution?
Yes, Councilman.
Compromise that I'm willing to deal with, okay? If we can't increase our blanket bond to cover, both the treasurer and Tony, of course, because Tony is still here.
Correct.
Okay, then if we can't increase that bond, now, I want to emphasize here, I want you to try extremely hard.
Well, that is laid out in here, that's the first order, is to direct the city council to use its due diligence to acquire a blanket bond for the city treasurer and deputy treasurer positions. And that would be in addition to any bonds required by the county or other governmental unit. And if that is unable to be procured, then there would be the requirement to obtain the $5 million bond.
So now, one more quick question. So the county is requiring 40%, that's $5 million, correct?
Wait, I'm sorry.
The county's portion, the county is 40% of their portion. Their portion is 3 or 4 million.
Okay.
So the county's bond will be 40% of that.
Okay.
Their amount only. The city has nothing to do with the county.
Gotcha.
That's between the county and the treasurer.
That's the percentage of dollars levied.
It's over $13 million.
Our total amount is 12.5 million. That's all the money we collect for all jurisdictions. That's the city, the county, the school district, the libraries, RESA, Wayne, all the millage on the tax bill.
Okay.
So the city collects all of that money and then it dispenses it to those various entities.
Okay.
So that's the total amount. So if the total amount of the money were to disappear, we would owe that money to all those jurisdictions.
Okay, now I have a so I just want to make sure we put this in context. Again, we go back to the conversation that we had about moving this item on the agenda, and we go back to the source. Why do we even need to have this discussion? Our previous treasurer, who had been in her role for a number of years, was removed for a lack of her own personal financial acumen. She put herself in a situation where she could lose her elected position based on her own financial history. She wasn't. The reason that Ms. Bibbs is not here right now is based on Ms. Bibbs' personal financial situation and or history. It was a decision that she made as an individual to qualify for the house. So she made a poor personal decision in her own personal financial life that put her at risk of losing her appointed job. And let's remember, lawyers, dentists, doctors have to get malpractice insurance. A bond is an insurance policy. This city handles tens of millions of dollars. And I could not insure my new car for anything less than the value of the car. And I pay a premium that goes along with that. The city has agreed to pay the premiums. The issue is, what do you qualify for? And if there was a bond that could have been presented to the city by now, we wouldn't be having this discussion. If the city has actually received a document, we wouldn't be having this discussion. So this resolution is asking for us, and I'm going to put this on the screen because we're not making this up. And I would, like Mr. Shafi said, I wish this would go away. And I actually begged for us not to do this from the very beginning. And so here we are in a situation where somebody came and burned our house down, and now they're standing on the curb watching it smolder. That person is not in the room. That person shall not be named. They burned the house down for their own individual pleasure, and now the city is in turmoil over some BS. The charter says the council, it's right on the screen, the council may require as a method of protecting the city, a surety bond to be approved by the city attorney in such sum as city council determines appropriate. If the amount is $12 million, why are we getting a bond for anything less than the bare minimum county standard, which is 40%? I don't understand, madam. Don't disrespect my meeting. Okay, you might be the treasurer, but you're not on city council. So it's not gonna happen today. This is a conversation between members of city council. I would ask you, Madam Bailiff, this lady is not a part of city council. Would you please ask her to sit down? This is not her meeting. We're not doing that again. You've already disrespected my city council on a number of occasions, including going into a closed session. The beautiful thing about taped meetings is that there's a record. So, like I said before, members of city council, the question at hand is, are we going to approve this resolution or not? I don't have any feelings, but just know our fiscal future is being observed by everybody in the state of Michigan. We're still in a consent agreement. We still have state oversight. This is the responsible thing to do, is to request a bond. We can't even have a conversation about what the previous city council did or did not do. It's this city council. And to Mr. El Shafi's point, I wish it could all go away. But Janice Bibbs was removed from her job because of her own personal financial decisions, and a bond will protect us from people's own personal financial decisions. Their credit history, their financial background will all be involved in the scrutiny that requires the approval of that bond. That's what this is about. Anybody, whoever is our treasurer from now on, will have to get a bond. It is what it is.
Right, so why we keep talking about this?
Because that's the source of it. If Ms. Bibbs was still here, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
It's not here.
So we have to.
Not even, for that, we're not even in the same.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's call for the vote.
So we're.
So you're telling me that the point of reference that I was making about why we were deliberating on this is not necessarily relevant. So let's just call for a vote.
We're voting on facing the budget bond.
So the resolution. Let's
bond increase. If they can't get the money bond increase, then Mrs. Zarowski must acquire a bond.
That the city is still.
The city is still gonna pay. They're gonna pay it regardless.
The city's gotta pay for it. Those are the.
I acquired 2 bonds.
Ma'am, this is us. This is us. You can talk to people afterwards, but the deliberation process is among the 5 of us. Yep, let's call for the vote on this item. So for item 11B, if you would take the roll on 11B, this is the resolution regarding the approval of a bond for the city of Highland Park treasurer.
Council Pro Tem Robinson.
No.
Councilwoman Manica. Councilwoman Martin.
No.
Councilman Ashafi.
You can play the Jeopardy theme music.
Anybody got a quarter?
Councilman Ashafi.
I need a quarter. Can I get a quarter to flip, please?
Oh, that's not a quarter, that's an ounce of silver.
It's all right, I get it. Excuse me. Oh. Yes, it really is. There we go. Heads or tails? Heads, yes. Tails, no. Heads, yes. Yes, it is.
Council President Ham.
Yes, motion carries.
Here you go, sir. Chance is always a fun thing.
So at this point, it is 10:44, it's 10:41 PM. We have finished our agenda. We have the option. We have handled our council affairs. We can make speeches or we can adjourn.
I have one quick statement to make, Council President.
Go right ahead.
Okay, I want to thank.
All I need is a motion.
No, motion to adjourn, good night.
Second, all those in favor? Meeting adjourned, 10:41.